So, David, I hosted Jimmy Kimmel.
James Kimmel, and you
James
did a
Edward
great
Kimmel,
job.
who was also a state senator from Louisiana.
You did 2 nights. Great
nights.
stuff.
Thank you.
You had Quentin Tarantino, among others.
That was a thrill. I so loved being able to specifically compliment someone who I really admire his work tremendously. And to see him laugh when I was quoting lines from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I've seen 11 times over a period of time. Don't think I'm weird. He just laughed so hard.
He's great. You know, he did, we should have him on because he did SNL.
Wait, we should have him on. Say again.
We should have him on.
That's a good plan.
Oh, yeah, Brad Pitt. We should have him on, Quentin, because he did, he wasn't there, but we did John Travolta and we did Quentin Tarantino's Welcome Back, Kotter. That was a great sketch.
I would love to have been there when he was there, but he was such a kick and so much fun, and I love making him laugh.
And the next night you had Spade, and we had a blast. And
you came out and dismantled with your what was the driver was eating, the limo driver? Cheetos chunk was hysterical, and then something about mosquitoes.
I'll try to find that chunk and I'll put it up on Instagram or something. Mosquitoes. We did talk about the Burger King guy getting gifts at his 27 years of Burger King.
Yeah.
And then I was going to tell you that when I left SNL after 6 years, Lauren gave me a gift bag. He gave me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't get one.
Yeah, he gave me.
David, please.
Peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
A ticket to Cats. Actually, it was just a cat. It was just cat. It was one ticket, and it was a different play. It was not great.
It wasn't even Cats?
No, it was
That
cat.
was like a little practical. Oh, okay.
It was one ticket. Because they gave the Burger King guy one ticket to a movie.
He's got one ticket to ride.
So, yeah, Lauren gave me that in a slinky. Anyway, it was great. I was appreciative.
I did Trump and Biden, which was
Biden.
maybe brave, stupid, or fun, whatever you want to think in our current cultural climate. But my aim was to entertain. And inside baseball, I didn't have my glasses, and I squint as Biden, and the prompter was way back. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, I'm fucked. We're taping. I could barely see it.
It was live.
Then I'd open my eyes and like that. But
you
did
know
a goofy wig. I did the best I could. I want to tell you the Cheeto bit was some wonderful. But anyway,
fantastic.
Trump is fantastic. You're fantastic. And Biden, the thing is, I did the whisper. We're gonna
the whisper
do
was
fly
a crusher
on the wall because we know how to do fly on the wall. So that was fun. And staff was incredible, and the writers and producers, great people there at Mr. Kimmel's show.
And now here's our regular intro to Ellen that's still not Ellen yet. Ellen Cleghorn, Dana. Ellen Cleghorn was on with me and with you.
Yes, and she was a powerhouse from the beginning. She had just a great presence. She had her bandmates at the time, Melanie Hutzel and Beth Cahill and others.
And they all sort of came in together. Siobhan Fallon.
Yes.
Great.
And Ellen was part of that team, and she has a lot of firsts in her career. As a person, she's charming, funny.
She is smart. She's a teacher right now.
Ellen Cleghorn has a PhD in theater arts from Tisch University, so I don't think...
My friend has a PhD, pussy hound disease.
Hey, we compare that with Jack Off in the Box.
Hey, we got to keep the younger viewers here. They're starting to snooze.
Welcome to Flies After Dark.
Yeah.
Glowing.
No, Ellen is smart and is good in sketches. She does a Rada. She had a daughter on the show who is 5, and now she's we can't say. It'll be on. So we'll find out soon.
Her daughter would come around, super cute. We put her in a lot of sketches, and Ellen is just a powerhouse. Just a big personality.
Here she is, guys.
Here she is, the adorable
Ellen
Cleghorn.
Oh my gosh, Dana! Look who forgot.
Look at that mask. I feel naked. I'm not a super spreader. Ellen is. Where are you?
I know those eyes. That's Ellen.
She's shopping.
She goes, "Do I need a volume or audio on this podcast? As long as we can see you, we can see you, Ellen. We can't hear you.
I'm doing sign language.
Let's just air this. It's too funny. The video too.
We can't hear you,
Ellen. You're frozen, and we can't hear you. It's funny. We hear choppy stuff like album.
My two sons are into hip hop and rap heavily compared to me being from the 60s. So they've introduced me to it. And we play around with beats and do rhymes and, catchphrases.
Dana, do you want to hear? I'm going to sing a rap song. Okay. Ready? My name's Lamont, and I was born in January. I'm a Capricorn. God, Ellen will know this one if she unfreezes.
I got one. Or one called "You Got a Problem with This," and it's just a big beat. You got a problem with this, and it just repeats. You got a problem with this?
That would work in a dance club if I'm on Molly.
Because really, when I hear it in the gym and it's big beats and repetitive phrasing, it feels like comedy in a way.
That might be from Rapper's Delight.
I've talked about that before. Vermont. Snoop Dogg was the first one that got me hooked on it.
Ow. My name's Vermont, and I was born on a jam farm in Vermont.
Snoop. Yeah, give me a word, I'll rhyme it.
Dude, I saw Snoop on the dumbest ad, Schnizzle. It's just like some corny, dopey ad on the side of a bus. I'm like, Snoop, please turn something down. Alan, that was the funnest beginning we've had, actually.
Yeah, we're not a professional outfit, so don't worry.
But when you guys get really high tech and stuff, then you have to have me back.
Yeah, well, we are high tech.
Yes. Well, it was $13.95 to get the good setup, and Cadence decided to spend $9.95, and you pay for what you get. So, do you have any questions?
Mine's hooked up to my cable.
Or should we start?
Okay, Ellen. We have time for one final question for Ellen.
This has been Ellen.
No, Ellen, let's start by saying I was an angel at the beginning when you were there, and then we'll go from there.
You were an angel.
That's nice to hear because that place is so tough. It's hard to not be nice to everyone, but you're usually just walking down the hallway thinking. You're like thinking of a sketch, thinking of why I'm not on, thinking of why my sketch bombed, thinking of if Farley's going to eat my lunch. There's a million things going through your head. So
the answer to that is yes.
The answer is always yes. And it's just hard to, when you tell your side of it, I mean, you're there and you're there on one of the times we had a lot of cast members and a lot of people, a lot of mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm. You were very savvy anyway. So I don't think you would have ever done anything out untowards or whatever. You're always such a forward thinking man when I look back. And you introduced me to the phrase, a friend of the show.
We still say that. Lauren would go, Geraldo is a friend of the show.
There's a friend of the show, and then the terrorizing for the cast member. Still with the show. Still with the show.
I had never heard that before.
You never got still with the show. Yeah, Lauren, that was one of Lauren's favorites. I found it funny, but he's a friend of the show.
Ellen, one time when I don't know what years you were there. I was there
90 to 94, something like that.
Okay, so overlapped a lot, but in the summers we would call to see if we're getting picked up, and he'd go, I don't know if David's ever around. And I'm like, this is the one thing my manager hears once a year review. And that's the one thing. And it's like, you got to go, Lauren, you got to be careful what you say because that's it for a year. He's like, are you ever going to be there? I go, that's all I am is here all the time. It's just like a thing to get me off my ass. I don't know, but it really would stress me out to hear that.
You had so much more contact with him than I did. As everybody makes I said, I didn't know what his voice sounded like.
Do you know this is a good impression or not?
I couldn't tell you. I said, I don't know who he's doing. I guess it's Lauren.
Right. What happened with Lauren? When you got hired, that's when you talked to Lauren and then that was kind of it for the run?
I didn't speak to him when I got hired.
Oh, you didn't speak?
The only person I spoke to was Al Franken.
Oh, really?
Al Franken?
Yeah, I would go to Al Franken's office. And then I went into the Turner's office.
Oh, Bonnie and Terry Turner.
Bonnie and Terry Turner.
That was it.
Were they the head writers by any chance, Dana?
No, they were just really pivotal. They were in a lot of quadrants. They do all kinds of styles, and they helped me a lot. Church
they were great.
And other things.
So, Ellen, they kind of gave you the ropes or whatever?
No, they gave me no ropes. They just looked at me. They said, come in here. So I saw your tape. And then they just stare at you, and I'm like, okay. And I guess they were sizing me up to see what could I do. And Al Franken, all he did was ask me one time, he asked me if I could belch. And I was like, no. And he was through with me. And I was like, wait, what?
Through with me, literally?
Hey, can you belch? Yeah. And that was it?
And then he scratched out 9 sketches.
As I didn't, because I grew up in the time when ladies don't belch.
Well, I hope there's still a time like that.
She said, don't you dare belch. So I always was afraid. I admired people who could actually belch on cue.
Oh,
and
I can.
I had such a low. I really admire people like that.
I can, and maybe that's why I got the show.
I couldn't do it. Could you guys do a spit take? I mean, spit take was kind of like with a belch. It's like an easy laugh. There's an art to the spit take, but I don't think I ever did one on this show.
I like a spit take when I see people do that.
If it takes you by surprise,
a good spit take you don't see a lot anymore because I think they ran through them. But if you see them now, it's kind of funny and it can't be a planned one. I mean, it can't be look planned. Oh, that's the worst. Mm-hmm. So, Ellen, you were doing stand up right at the beginning, Ellen.
Yeah. I got it from doing stand up because I used to be in the clubs all the time, and I think a lot of people that I used to do stand up with got hired.
Which ones? Can you remember their names? Maybe we ran into them.
Well, look, maybe you know him. His name's Chris Rock.
Wait a minute, Chris. Let me write that down.
What is up,
Chris? Where has he been? I mean, what happened to Chris Rock?
Barack Obama. Our president, Barack Obama. I go, Rock, you say everything twice in your act.
I told him when I was teaching my kids how to do stand-up for the clarity of the setup. I said, let's look at Chris Rock because he was really good at
very articulate.
Hits
he nails
a premise,
the subject,
does comedy, hits it again, and it's just like really easy on your brain so you can enjoy it. He obviously became a master of the craft.
Masterful.
Yep. So, Ellen, doing clubs back then, were you doing like Catch Rising Star or those are the only ones I kind of knew, but I didn't know like the underground ones. I just knew like a few. I never really went on when I was there.
But I saw you actually at Catch a Rising Star.
Oh, good.
So you did go on there, David.
Well, that's the only one I knew, and I think that's when I auditioned at. And then, so that's the only one I could call and say, "Can I come down?" If it was now and then to do a set, because I didn't really know the drill.
I saw you there, and you used to do this bit about scoliosis.
I think I like girls, a little arch back, a little scoliosis happening. Yeah.
That's a funny word.
It is.
That was the first time I had ever even heard of scoliosis. I was like, this is great. This comedy is educational.
Oh my God. It's more shocking that I still do the joke. No. But I Ellen is funny. I was just telling Dana, I taped a special, and I don't do that many specials. No one's asking and beating down my door, but I did one, and I was telling Dana that I did a joke that was offensive. I sort of did it on purpose. The second show, because I felt like, okay, I sort of got all my jokes. And before I got off stage, I did one. I was telling Dana it was kind of funny because then I sort of yelled at the audience for not liking it, just to be stupid. But here's a joke, Ellen. You tell me if it's you see why they didn't like it. So I say I went to Las Vegas for a show or whatever, and then look at blurry setup, unlike Chris Rock. I went to Las Vegas for whatever, and in the newspaper it said that day it was the anniversary of the Las Vegas shootings, which we all had heard about, and it said today is the anniversary of the October 1st shootings. And I asked the guy there, I go, isn't this the Las Vegas shootings? And he goes, yeah, they changed it. They got a brand expert because the Las Vegas shootings sounded too much like everyone was getting shot in Las Vegas. And I go, well, yeah, that's what happened. And he goes, yeah, but October 1st hits the ear better. And I go, oh, they hired the same people that did the Oklahoma City situation and the kerfuffle at Columbine. I didn't even get to the Sandy Hook snafu, and they had already given up on me.
Oh my gosh!
They got it. They give up during the premise.
Columbine
and so I looked at this.
It's called School's Out. Go ahead.
Columbine was where this woman was just staring me in the front row, and I go, too much? And she goes, yeah. And I go, yeah. I go, you know what Netflix likes is when you try stuff on your special. You don't tell them, and it could be some legal problems, and you do it anyway. And so they like that. They like undercooked, half-assed shit that can offend the crowd. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. And then I did like...
David's nickname is Showstopper. So what we're going to go...
it was such a showstopper.
No,
go ahead. No, I was just saying.
No. I think that it could... I really think that it could work because everybody's so sensitive right now. So they have to You can't say what it was. You have to make it sound palatable.
And that's what they're doing. They're making these horrible things sound like they're not fun, but they're just like, okay, it's softening
wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
They're showing an old Dana Carvey commercial on the gram or Twitter or wherever.
Oh,
You did a commercial with, I think it was Pepsi Cola or something.
Oh,
You're shuffling cards, or is it Lay's potato chips or something?
Yeah.
You're shuffling cards
Yes.
at a casino.
God, I can't believe that's around still. I think that was 20 years ago. I got over my, allergic reaction to doing commercials. I turned down a lot of commercials trying to be Bob Dylan or something in the 90s. But then by the knots, I'm like, wait a minute. This is crazy. So I did do one.
Yeah, you got to take it while you can, man. Shit.
I mean,
yeah. When I was with Ellen, those years, actually, Dana, you were there too for this. But Ellen, I got offered a commercial during SNL when I wasn't even doing that good. And I wasn't allowed to do it. And I was just so bummed that I finally would have had a little chunk of money. It wasn't crazy, but I was like, God dang, I'm not allowed to because, NBC decides.
Did we ever talk about how much money we were making on the show?
No,
not today. What did you? I'll tell you what I started at, $4,500 an episode. So you keep about $2,000 a week, I guess, or for the $80,000 for the season, I think, gross.
Okay, I'll go. I started at $900 a week to write, and I got a $1,500 bump if I got on.
I'll tell you how much I started at.
Okay.
$245 an episode.
No.
What?
Nothing extra if I got anything on, and nothing for writing.
Wow.
When I left there after almost 5 years, I was making $4,500 an episode. Nothing for writing, and that's it. And no bumps or nothing.
Oh my God. Did an agent put that together? Do you have an agent back then or no?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, it's sort of take it or leave it, I'm sure, but
exactly.
Boy, I just thought there was some union thing would.
I've never said it before. No, you would think there was some union thing.
They would at least give you.
And I used to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would ask the union, and they said, well, that's union minimum wage, and you only work 1 day a week. So what is the problem?
Good Lord, really Alan. True. Damn it. God damn it. I'm fucking pissed. Now, what about Melanie Hutzel? What was she getting? Like 20 grand
she was
a week?
Getting 30 grand.
Hutzel don't go down for anybody, man. She was loading it up, driving a Bentley to work. Melanie needs more money than Ellen. No, what was Melanie Hutzel getting? Your peers at the time and were coming.
Did you ask anyone?
No, I never did.
I didn't ask anyone either.
Where did you live? How did you survive on that?
Exactly. No, what helped out was that I was doing stand up. So the weeks that were we were off or whatever, then I would go do stand up on the road. And I could make not that much, but at least a couple of $1,000.
It's very rare that the stand-up is more than the work check.
Well, in this case, it was.
I know. I'm saying
definitely.
That's a very odd situation because I got to the point where I could make some on the weekends if I went to a college or something. But the joke of it's 1 day a week work we all know is a joke because it's 24 hours a day on your mind, even on the weekends when you're doing laundry. Yeah, yeah. There's like no job harder. I mean, in the real world of like showbiz, I mean, there's jobs harder, but in our little world, it's just a constant stress. And wow, well, that's tough to hear. I don't know. I mean. And you were doing as much as anyone.
When you were getting reoccurring characters, and Queen Shanifa, whatever their name is, and you were kicking it on the show like that. I mean, obviously they started to bump you, but it just still never went to anything that was reasonable at all.
No, they didn't bump. The whole season, I got like $200 a week. 200 and change. So it came out to be like... I
just can't do it like Saturday Night Live.
Even
the next one,
Uncle Sam said we're not going to bother.
400. Exactly. The next one was like $400 and something a week. The second year
per show.
The third year was like per show. Then it was per show, not week per week, right? And then the next one was like $750 a week or something like that. And then finally, it bumped up to 4,000
to like a legitimate number, like a decent number, which isn't even crazy. It isn't even a crazy high number for.
I believe, unless I got it wrong, that it was 4,500 for the whole cast, because we didn't have a big cast. So it was Phil and Jan and I and whoever was coming in. I believe it was everyone was getting the same, as far as I remember. Maybe Lovitz and Nora Dunn had a little more because it was their second season. But
we all have a different situation, Dana, because I think Ellen is brought in as maybe a feature player and not even a writer, even though she wrote, obviously. I was brought in as a writer, feature player that they wanted me to write, not really be on. So it's kind of the opposite. And you, I think, were just brought in as a cast member, but they didn't give you writing credit, even though I'm sure you wrote.
No one.
You weren't looking for a writing credit.
No one got a writing credit. You couldn't get one. But
right.
We all, it's not what we do here, so you get used to it, but it was a little
back
funny.
Then I would imagine. I didn't want a writing credit. I'd rather be a performer, but.
Yeah, everybody's writing, I think. The only one who made a joke out of it, you two could talk that, was Chris Farley, would always say, I can't think of anything, but he was a brilliant performer, but that's what he said. But almost everyone was writing to some degree.
But Ellen, I'm sure to stay alive, you had to write. You weren't getting thrown in everything.
Yeah. No, but you guys hooked me up, though. Be honest.
No, we would try.
Every time I turn around, you were, and not just me, but me and my daughter. Every time I turn around, she was in a sketch. Like,
I think she was 5, and now she's probably like 7 or something.
She's an oral surgeon.
What?
Really?
And she's 11?
Swear for God.
How old is she now?
Amazing. So you're a doctorate, and she's an oral surgeon. Huh.
Can you imagine?
I can.
I have children. Yeah, it's
You guys are...
no, I can't really, but that's terrific. So that's great. Good Lord.
But here's the thing. When I think of Dana, now I didn't know Dana from nobody. So I grew up in the project. So I have my girlfriends, and they start singing this thing that you used to do about broccoli.
Yeah. Oh, chopping broccoli.
Chopping broccoli. Yeah.
Chop a broccoli. And I'm like, what are y'all singing? We would just be dying laughing. They said, you got to see this guy. It's hysterical. And so we would tune into SNL, and hopefully it came on. So luckily the day it came on, and love. You used to have us all dying laughing in Brooklyn with that chopping broccoli business. And then we would just not mock you or mimic you. We would do chopping broccoli whenever we would just have a moment alone, or just start acting ridiculous. We'd be at a piano or something, pretend something was a piano, and we would just talk about chopping broccoli. That's how you came into my life. And so when I met you, I was like, oh my God, it's the chopping broccoli guy.
That is so flattering. I honestly, I love madness and silliness and catchphrases. And I love that people sharing them. I thought it was silly and stupid, but even with me, it goes through my head when I actually chop broccoli. So I'm like, I chop broccoli. So I don't know. There was a sportscaster when a guy hit a home run. He was on ESPN. He'd go, and he is chopping broccoli. So it's fun, but that's cool. Thank you, Alan.
It kind of frees you up to know that anything could be funny. Not, and you could just go for it. Just go for it. That hits.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I think it's like verbal, physical comedy in a way. In other words, when someone's laying out a riff like that, then you have permission as an audience member. You don't have to really listen anymore. The guy's just going to say chopping broccoli over and over again. So you can laugh as hard as you want. With Dennis Miller or something, it's a very intricate kind of thing going on. So you really need to listen. With that, you just
have to hear every word.
Go crazy. And Chris Farley with his physical comedy, you just Do you remember?
Remember that time? No, Dana. When you did chopping broccoli,
Head One Harry?
Oh yes, that was crazy. I never saw anything like that in my life. I was dazed. I was stunned and amazed.
Nothing I did.
I was in that sketch.
I remember.
There was 95 people in that sketch, right?
I think we had a full cast.
Kind of at that punch bowl in that little scene, and I assume our audience knows the character, but I didn't write it, but I was wearing a prosthetic thing that looked like I had a massive head wound, and I went to a party and mayhem ensued, and a dog got hungry. So that's funny. All you need to know. Google it.
That was a sketch that was everyone's laughing and read through my head.
Absolutely no sense. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Was it Jack Handy?
There's nothing like dogs and children, I guess, and they put too much baby food on the prosthesis between dress and air. So in the air show, the dog, because I take a nap as Massive Heaven Harry, and the dog comes up and wants to eat my head, but the dog wouldn't let go. The dog went crazy. I mean, and tried to rip the prosthesis off, but I held it on barely. But that was an example of the audience. It was like an I Love Lucy moment. If I could,
yeah, you were kind of trying not to laugh. We were all watching it and laughing.
Nothing to do with me, really. It was just
when she's at the thing with the chocolate
doing the chocolate thing. Yeah, anytime that she's doing just physical comedy, you can just hear the audience waves and waves of laughter. But anyway. So Ellen.
Hey, Dana, yes. I didn't ask you. I was on mute. I muted because there's a garbage truck outside going meep, meep. But I forgot I was on mute and I was asking you a bunch of questions. I'm going to go back about a half hour. Were you, was Chopping Broccoli in your SNL audition?
Yes.
Oh, so it was all the way back there. That was such a good one. Because I remember Chopping Broccoli, one of the first things about you that I just thought it hit my ear. It was so clever and weird. And then you were going chop and braca, chop, sheep, chop, sheep, chop, chop. And I was like, what is this fool doing? I thought it was so funny.
Chop it, broccoli. Yeah, sometimes I'll do it for 10 minutes. I'm doing stand up.
You should have done it with Paul McCartney when he came on. That would have been fun. You should make him do it.
It's very, it's humorous because, why is he singing about a vegetable over and over again? It's not, I did let it be, it's about letting go and this and that, but there's nothing really about a vegetable chopping it all the time. But I guess that's what the Americans find funny. It's like, I'm chopping a dooba-dooba-dooba-doo, a broccoli, a dooba-dooba-dooba-doo,
He set me up. So, Ellen, do you want to talk about your hit characters or the ones that, there are two that really stood out as far as reoccurring?
There was a page desk. This is Zareta. What was it?
Yes, Zareta. I miss Zareta. I miss Zareta so much. And I guess I'm supposed to do it here.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
It's politically correct to do it here. Only because I really do speak Spanish, and it's not like I don't know. I
didn't think about that part. I forgot about that, but that's
can cut anything, so go for it. But I just love that you said you missed the character. I relate to that. Sometimes I'll just do characters or voices driving around or I'm by myself because I want to revisit the character,
Oh, my gosh. I miss Zareta so much. She had so many problems. And
and you'd always get like the host or someone involved, right?
The host got involved, and when the first time I did it was with Michael Jordan.
Wow!
Whoa!
And that was like major, and he was like, he thought I was being ridiculous, but I was. I promised that I would sue him, and he thought that was hysterical. But the thing is that, and I said, what makes you think I won't cut you? And because that really did happen to me.
Hysterical.
I was on the train, and this girl did ask me, "What makes you think I won't cut you?"
It's that kind of a tough question.
Is that a rhetorical question? Yeah. No.
But that's a classic comedian's move, is that you heard that in a real situation. And it is really funny because it's not I'm going to cut you, what makes you think I won't cut you. That is really funny. And for you to take that good, and crazy use person. It was kind of one of her. She always said that at some point, or no?
Yeah, she did.
What makes you think I won't cut you? That's really funny. And she did it with a Spanish. What makes you think I won't cut you? Is it like?
But it's not just Spanish. It's really Puerto Rican with a little Dominican. It's like this, like it's very nasally, and you gotta put it in that like that.
Yeah,
and it's very emphatic.
Oh, yes.
What makes you think I won't cut you? But what
did Michael Jordan say to that?
He just laughed.
He just looked at her. He just laughed. And then I said, I said, don't touch me. Don't hit me. I'll sue you, And he was like, okay. What the fuck?
Did you have to do that at read through with him?
Yeah, and that was great.
How fun.
Yeah, I did.
How fun. What a memory.
Kind.
You and Michael Jordan.
Kind.
I mean he was, but that's it. That's just hitting me funny now. The idea of a host just strolling around on 8H and then this page just starting to talk to him and threatening to cut him and don't think I'd sue him. It's just no wonder how many times do you think you did that?
Maybe 6 times.
Yeah, it was on. Good.
I did it quite a few times. But I think it kind of bothered the one I really wanted to do with was John Malkovich, but it didn't get on.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Malkovich.
The thing that, I think it kind of bothered the people who were writers, you know?
Right. Because
Like if I went to Harvard to write comedy, this little scrappy Negro from the projects is over here getting shit on air. You know, I would be extremely upset. And they used to tease me, and really they weren't very nice to me. But
that's Harvard.
Yeah, listen.
no,
Look.
it's boys. You know, boys are very different. When you compete with boys and they don't win, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I think it was part of that. But that was in the past, you know, and you just got to let it go and move on.
Yeah, we talked to Conan about that. Like, he felt weird. That had that moniker, like he's from Harvard, and I went to community college, so I felt weird. Like they would think I'm stupid, and you know, I think everyone felt a little different about their upbringing, getting on the show, and how they got there, and how they would be perceived. But you know, if you write a sketch like that and you got Michael Jordan, it gets laughs at read through. It's like tough shit. It's getting on.
What makes you think I won't cut you? Like you could go to Yale or Harvard or Dartmouth for a long time, but not come up with that and use it in that
Right.
context. So yeah, I felt the same intimidation. I went to San Francisco State. It was barely a college. Sorry, San Francisco State. And I went to community college. And then I get to SNL. It's just a lot of Ivy League young men, you know, with dress shoes and tucked in shirts and jeans and short kind of waspy haircuts. So yeah, I got it. But yeah, so anyway, continue.
Now, Ellen, did you go to the 40th? You were at the 40th, right?
Yes, I was. And I think I was in it. Was it the last one?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, that was the last big one.
15.
Yeah. I did a
Bluetooth connected.
Hang on, I got to put my money in the payphone.
Bluetooth
Go ahead.
connecting.
No, I'm here. I have all these things.
You got
None
a
of
lot
them
going
are
on.
working. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I teach this class. I'm teaching this class here. Actually, it's a school in Jersey City. I teach at the new school in Manhattan, but I also teach here in Jersey City. I just started teaching here, and I'm really having a good time, huh? But it doesn't have the money. It doesn't have the money the new school has. So I have to bring all my stuff. So I have a Bluetooth speaker and
what do you teach?
yeah.
Well,
In this
what do you
one,
teach?
I teach acting.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, cool.
In this one, I'm teaching acting here at Jersey City. And then the way Dana talks about comedy, I want Dana to come and be a guest at my class in the new school. I teach the theory of comedy. And Dana really seems to
Dana has
get
really
it.
deep
Not that
thoughts
you
about
don't,
comedy.
David.
No, Dana's actually really
David
good at
is-
articulating it.
Writes amazing stuff, but I am fascinated by comedy and in all ways, and the phraseology and it's such a, you know, it's like trying to catch the wind. you never solve it completely. You never master it. It's always humbling what you think will kill and will not, and so forth and so on. But do you mind just for a second, because it's kind of, I've not met run into any ex-cast member who got a doctorate, a PhD from Tisch School of the Arts. Like, what do you talk
Tisch
about how
School of
that
the Arts at
happened?
NYU.
I mean, when did you decide to go, and how did that manifest for you?
Well, okay, so I'm going to tell you in just a second. So I'm teaching at the new school, and so I have comedians come in and talk to the class, et cetera, comedians and producers, et cetera. So Mike Shoemaker came in,
Shoemaker.
and
Producer.
Yeah.
Marcy Klein came in,
Marcy.
and Tim Meadows
Timmy.
came and talked to the
Nice.
right. And then I use recordings from different, like I use Chris Rock and I use different people's recordings. Anyway, so maybe in 2007 or 2006, I was doing a radio show with Paul Mooney, and I was writing for him, and in New York City, and he just never came. Like the show was from 6 a.m. to 10 in the morning. So he would show up. You know how radio is.
Yeah.
You start at 6. It starts at 6.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Right.
America. Blah, blah, blah. And he would show up maybe 7. 7:15.
Love Paul Mooney.
And then he would have been out all night, and so he would sleep.
Right.
So I had signed a contract with them. So when they let him go, I couldn't get out of my contract. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to pay them all that money back. And I was like, that's not going to happen. And so I was like, So he was mad that I stayed. And I was like, no, I can't. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. We'll just have to be angry at one another. So I said, well, Ellen, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because this is going to keep coming up, whatever. And I said, well, what would you really do if you could do anything? Because I had this chunk of money. I said, well, I would like to get a master's degree from someplace. So I applied to NYU. I said, something you've always wanted to do. And I said, okay. And plus I was also if I can be really honest with you, I was tired of hearing people say, I have a master's degree. When I got my master's degree, and I was like so sick of hearing people say that. I had an undergrad degree, but I guess that wasn't enough. So I said, okay, I'll go back and do it. So I went and got it. I got into the school. I applied to Tisch, and I got in. And so then then while I was there, this girl said to me, she said, whatever you do, don't stick around for the PhD. And I was like, what? Why not? She said, because they're gonna ask you to write something. These white people always want to steal your writing. And I was like, really?
Oh.
David and I have that problem too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I want to read it so I can take it.
Okay, well that's really practical
so then
advice.
So I said, as a matter of fact, so because she told me not to, I said, okay, I'm gonna apply. So all they could say is no. So I applied, and comes to find out she had applied as well. So she was trying to thin the herd so that there wouldn't be any competition. You get it?
Oh, no, I totally get
And I
it. It
was
says
like-
sabotage. Subtle, to be a friend.
Yeah.
She's taking you out of the competition. Good.
Subtle touch.
Right, exactly. So then I got in and I said, okay, well, let's see what happens. And they kept saying, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, what does one do here? So it was that constant back and forth. So they weren't, it's a very competitive business. It's more cutthroat than show business.
No.
And
Really?
and people are not as oh my gosh, yeah.
Just competing with who's smarter or
Why are they? Did they only give one at the end, or doesn't everybody get it?
No, they give out. Okay, so 100 people will apply, and there's 6 slots, 6 or 8
okay,
slots.
there you go.
Wow. And you got that's great.
And the thing is, they pay you,
Oh,
so it's like a salary position to be a PhD candidate.
Oh,
got
that's
it.
hot.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money
So
by
what?
any stretch of the imagination.
Is it over 245?
Exactly. It's about even. It's about the
The
same.
SNL
Yeah,
people
something like
called
that.
them. She's really good at 245. It's sort of
She'll take 245.
It's a good number for Ellen. She does very well. I think 245 would be
Across the board, rest of her
work out
life.
great. She really shouldn't go for a PhD because my nephew wants to get. Would she be competitive? Sorry, go ahead. So what? So I love your laugh. I can't see.
Yeah,
it,
she's got a good laugh.
So
It hurt. You really no, but when I hear Dana really hurts my stomach. But I don't know what
It's
that is.
too
But
silly
he really
and
makes
funny.
me laugh hard.
well, thank you very much.
Oh my
You're
God.
so sweet. Ellen, what was your doctoral thesis on?
It was on African American humor in social context.
What is there to say about that?
From the civil rights
Yeah.
from the civil rights era to the Barack Obama.
So what was it, 9,000 pages?
It was about 400 pages, 300 to 400 pages.
I kind of
My
feel
God.
like, and I don't know if it's fair or not, but it feels like there's like a heavyweight crown for who's the best stand-up in the world at any given time. And I think you could say like Carlin to Pryor to Steve Martin to Robin Williams. And then I'm not really sure where you went from there, but I know at one point Chris Rock was the champion. And that
Chris Rock stands the test of time.
Yeah.
his stand up, and I mean, I say this because I've been studying it. I'm not saying that because I know him or whatever, but when I play it for the kids, they get it. It hits hard all the time. And so I say, that really works.
You know, he went on the other night. I was at the Comedy Store. He came in and went on. It's still, he's working on new stuff, and it's just as good. You just sit there and go, wow, he put that together nicely. Like, he still knows what he's doing. He's still sharp. It's just exactly what you would think. Which even Kevin Hart went on. I'd never seen Kevin Hart go on, and he did a great job. Everyone did a set. It was kind of fun.
Does Alan, going back to Dr. Cleghorn for a second, I always thought Chris was really great at the elephant in the room, or summing up a social trend with a phrase and then working that idea for a long, long time. He seemed to be very, very good about it. I remember during the Clarence Thomas hearings with Anita Hill and all that stuff, and then he did a thing about no woman ever accuses Denzel Washington of harassment or something like that. But he did it in the Chris Rock way. And it was just a funny observation. You know what I mean?
You'll never find a woman.
That Denzel won't leave me alone.
Someone do something.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet Denzel, and I went to see him on Broadway when he was doing Julius Caesar. And so backstage, and I reached out to shake his hand, and I'm gonna tell you something. Like butter, his hands were so soft.
You fell for it too.
So soft.
Were they soft and were they moist and soft like Bill Clinton, or just soft?
No, not moist and soft. No, they were not moist. They were just soft.
Don't add moist.
Like they made you. No, moist is terrible. He made me lose my voice. What?
Oh, so was it a little bit electric because he's Denzel Washington? In a way of just meeting someone who. Is just really charismatic sex symbol. I mean, he is. I mean, he's Denzel Washington, right? Yeah. So did he get you a little weak kneed in a way?
Well, my knees did not get weak. I actually just lost my voice, and all I could focus on was his hands. They were so fucking soft. I said, "What is this? Maybe he's not a real person or something." No, I couldn't say. No, I couldn't even speak. I lost my voice. I'll ask him.
I'll DM him on Instagram. I'll get to the bottom of this.
But I did write a poem. I did write him a poem, and I don't remember. I have to find it, but I did write a poem, and I was doing the radio show in New York at the time, and I read it to him over the air, and I don't.
Was it okay? What was it about? Denzel? What would be the subject about a poem about Denzel?
It's about his hands, Dana. How she got into it.
How soft they
hands
were.
for a strong man.
He was doing Julius Caesar on Broadway. Et tu, Brute?
Et tu, Brute? Yeah, ixnay on the.
Hands as soft as a baby boutte.
Dennis Miller was playing Prospero in The Tempest at the Herald.
How do you even know what those words are?
Trying to get my inner, Mickey Rooney, going way back, a 1930s actor. I remember they told him, Mickey, you can't change your lines. The camera doesn't know where you are. He goes, the only writers whose lines you can't change are Bill Shakespeare. I just love when they go Bill Shakespeare. It's like
I like Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney, I liked him when he was in some movie with Judy Garland. But I used to love those kind of movies in the afternoon on the TV, and because that's all they would show. And around Christmas time, he was always playing a rich guy, and he was 2 feet tall. And I guess he played a child for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he was a man child.
They always were. It was like Judy Garland, and they were like playing like sophomores in high school. At one point they go, I know, we could put on a show. And then they would all start singing and dancing, and they would sing like the wind and dance. And Mickey could do it all, believe me. So,
Ellen, who were your...
I got a barn.
I got a barn. We could throw this thing together by 6 p.m.
Yeah, you'll get
Somebody
the stage.
Get the cows out. Yeah.
Why, Uncle Willie's electrical stores, we could get a microphone. And
I'll put all the cows to sleep.
I'll make a hat out of hay.
Kill them.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill them. Just walk them out back.
Also some moccasins. Yeah, those were those great, they made like 10 of those, at least.
Do we have a costumer on the ranch? We do?
Betty.
Betty, can you make 100 costumes by night? Of course.
Got the train coming and town. Got a woo woo. Got the train coming in. Gonna laugh in the town. All right. Sorry, train coming in the town. It's a huge hit that.
Oh, yeah. Let's ask Ellen about the 40th. We got cut off. Did you like going to the 40th? Did you have fun there? And what sketch were you in?
I did a sketch with Jerry Seinfeld.
Whoa.
And I was up in the audience on the side with all the kids that I guess are not the celebrities. Okay.
He
got in the building, though. That's good.
Victoria Jackson was on the 6th floor. I can't even see. I don't even know where I am. Go ahead.
They let Beth Cahill drive by and beep. But they told me absolutely no plus ones. They said, no, there's absolutely... Because you're going to be in the audience and whatever. And I apologize.
I brought my daughter with me. I did.
You did? They let you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they let me bring her in. Because she didn't sit in the audience with me.
Special.
But they let her bring in the building.
Maybe she was in the spillover room.
Yeah, she was. I think she was.
So what happened? Did you ask a question to Seinfeld or something? Was there a Q&A?
Yeah. I asked Jerry Seinfeld a question, how come there's no black women on his show?
Oh, my God, yeah.
What was his answer?
And he said, I'm sorry I didn't save the world or something like that.
Oh.
And then I had a follow-up question, which I don't remember what it was. But the thing that I liked, the trivia part about that, was that Mulaney wrote that sketch.
John Mulaney.
Oh.
So I felt real special. I feel connected to pop culture.
Do you feel like you might be the godmother to his baby in a way?
I hope at least the baby could call me auntie.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that I follow all that crap on the Instagram.
Oh, me too.
And
it's
the Twitter.
sad. I do too.
There's rumors that Pete Davidson is the actual father. I don't believe any of this nonsense. I don't buy any of this tabloid stuff.
That baby looks just like Mulaney.
He was putting it in a crock pot or something a day later. Do you see that picture? I'm like, what's happening?
No.
Yeah, he's like putting it in a pot.
You can really work a
what's
baby
going on?
now. The baby.
You're doing baby bits?
But he said he's paying the baby $245 a week for all the
baby
Instagram.
gets $250.
Oh my God.
It's perfect for a baby. They get Gerber food, more diapers, maybe a little teddy. It's a perfect fee for all humans.
I like the tone of this show. This is very good.
Ellen, did you know that Jerry Seinfeld has a new comedy album coming out called Paper Clips? Why?
You're such an idiot.
You almost had me.
By the way, it should be.
Paper
That's
clips.
funny.
Why? Because he would do 20 minutes on a paperclip. When the stapler came out, the paperclip's like, oh no, we're over. We're so over. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. Good night. Sorry. Go ahead.
Then he comes back and he goes, I forgot to talk about Pop-Tarts. He has a Pop-Tart movie.
Jerry, you know what?
He does not.
He
this
does.
goes full
My friend is in
circle.
it.
This goes full circle to our doctor.
Yes.
So Jerry Seinfeld, over a period of years, and he was in the New York Times, he was trying to complete a bit about Pop-Tarts, and he couldn't get it to work. And he spent years on it, because you know how Jerry is.
Cracking the code.
Pop-Tarts, because he'd say all this stuff. We saw a Pop-Tart, we're 10 years old, and our heads exploded, whatever. But when I run into Jerry, I want to tell him, Jerry, there was one fatal flaw from my point of view. And we had 2-day-old baked goods, 5 kids. Dad was a high school teacher. No one really liked Pop-Tarts that much compared to Hostess berry pies or Twinkies or Snowballs or regular cupcakes. Comment, Professor.
Wow.
Let me tell you, those Hostess berry pies were the jam.
Are you talking about the cherry apple pie, like whatever?
Yeah,
they have
they'd have
glazing,
apple
frosting.
or cherry.
Magic. They were magic.
Oh, those are unreal.
And the Pop-Tarts were okay, but they were a little sweet and narrow. You put them in the toaster. They were fine, but they weren't. Jerry's bit treated them like they were the greatest.
Dana, do you want to hear some bullshit now that you brought it up? And I would never have brought this up.
Okay.
I would break off the crust on the edges before it got to the frosting. And I said, fuck it. I just wanted the parts that had frosting on them. Because Pop-Tarts were not all the way to the Pop-Tart.
I can't believe you're revealing this.
I know, and I was going to save this.
I'm checking Daily Mail right now.
Is this already going
In the
viral?
UK version, you're both trending. Wow.
Hashtag, because the crust...
Spade destroys Pop-Tart.
I didn't even know what carbs were. I just knew that I didn't really like that edge until I got to the frosting, so just break it off. I was a fucking rebel.
Yeah, I'm with. But was it cherry or apple? What was your favorite?
I like on the pies.
The host.
On the pies at 7-Eleven, I liked, cherry or apple. That's a tough one. I would black out quickly after because all the sugar, but I also liked ding dongs.
Ding dongs sounds like a comedy punchline.
I like Twinkies, yeah. Ding dongs is a funny
What happened to
word.
your ding dong? You know what I mean? It just sounds funny. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were really asking me because something did happen to my ding dong recently.
Ding.
Ellen, you're like, why did I get on the Wi-Fi?
All right, we'll edit this. And now we're back with Ellen Cleghorn on Fly on the Wall. We just took a
We have
short
time
break.
for a couple more quick
We
questions.
were not cutting inappropriate material.
What else did we not ask her, Dana? We've asked her.
Why
about.
is
Let me
she
see.
so awesome? Was my first question.
Yeah, why is she so smart?
But can I talk to you about this David Spade?
Yeah.
Now, does everybody know that you used to ride the skateboard and you were riding the skateboard in that movie, the
Police Academy?
Yes.
Before SNL. So I'm like, oh, he really had it going on. You knew all about the red carpet and the da-da-da-da-da before.
No,
before
you know,
we even
Ellen,
got there.
the true story is that I got out to LA and I'm from Arizona and I did skateboard. And the only reason I got that audition, I couldn't really act, but this is just the luck of the draw. They saw me at the Improv. I didn't look like everyone else. They had long blonde hair and I was 20 and they said, you know what? We need a kid to play a skateboarder, but we didn't think of it. But this kid could probably pull off, high school. So I go in and they go, did you get the script? I go, no. And they said, shoot, we have one here. And they didn't have one. And they go, shit. We don't need to waste your time. It's just about a skateboarder. Maybe you could just improv a few lines. And this is so lucky, Ellen, because I didn't know how to read a script. I didn't know how to hold sides. I didn't know. I would have shown how green I was and how new. So I just said, I'm a skateboarder. You got an attitude and the cops are coming up. I'm like, hey, guys. I just start making up shit, and saying skateboard terms. And they were like, oh, that's exactly what we need. Okay, great. You know what? Let's get this guy. And if they would have let me act, it would not have worked because they would have seen. So just improving and bullshitting was what I was better at than actually reading a script. And so I got out there. I got $25,000, which is great. 10 weeks.
Wow.
$25,000. It would take.
So I got $2,500.
It would take Ellen 3 years to get that much based on her
200 years to get that.
I can't even do the math.
I know. She can't even comprehend these. She goes, you mean $25? I go, nope, 25. So I go up.
It's your first job,
$25,000
for riding a skateboard? What the fuck?
Well, Dana, and I get to ride with Tony Hawk and all these guys, Mike McGill. So I do, I go 10 weeks in Toronto and I get a per diem. This is why people get hooked on acting. So I do it. I come back with Ellen. I cleared 10 from all the bullshit. I woke up like Canadian tax and whatever. So I pay everything. I give my mom 3 for bills. I do 1 in bills, but I needed a car. $6,000 left after 10 weeks. I go up and I buy a Honda Accord. I drive it to the Improv and it got stolen that night. So I was back to zero, no insurance. And I just did 10 weeks on the road and I came back. I have nothing to show for it.
And the next night, Jay Leno showed up at the Improv in a Honda Accord. I never understood that. It was just parked. I used to drive the motorcycle, but
Hey, fine as keepers.
Because it's got 3 cylinders, but it was fine. No, that's a bummer.
The Improv, not the comedy store. The Improv.
No, the Improv was sketchy. Yeah, it was over on Kilkea. This is a street right next to the Improv. I came out to show Tim Rose, this comic. I go, check out this sweet pimp sled I just bought. Very sensible pimp sled. And it was gone. I go, maybe it's this other street. I go, and he started going, uh-oh. I go, there's no fucking way. No way. I think they followed me with a key to the car, honestly, the people that sold it to me, and just took it.
That's an empty feeling.
Anyway, I was just saying that to say
that is a great story.
It sounded great, and then I started auditioning, and I wasn't any good, so I was just like bombing, and then I had 2 years of just scraping, and then then it started to pick up a little more. But by the time I got to SNL, I'd already been like humbled. I'm like, shit, this has got to work because I got like nothing clicking. No other movies in that gap of like 4 years. Just.
And then you hit big with all those movies with Chris.
Tommy Boy.
Yeah. So I got lucky with that too. So, and that was direct result of like the show. And Bonnie and Terry wrote that first one, and then Fred Wolf took over. But Bonnie and Terry worked on that first draft of Tommy Boy, and then we did Black Sheep, and then I was really jealous of those Chris Farley shows because he got to have a big host like McCartney, and he got to talk to him and go, "Remember when you were in the Beatles?"
Chris has some very memorable.
Did
sketches.
Downey write that one based on like just how he was at the office?
It sounded so like Chris,
so real, yeah,
and it was just hysterical.
I don't know, Dana. Anything else? What do you got? Anything you want to tell her?
Just
your hopes, your dreams.
Just want to hang out with you.
Yeah, Ellen was
a lot
fun.
of times
Ellen...
that happens on this show because we're getting to see people that we worked with and adore and had fun with, and then we don't see them all these years, and so this is really fun.
It's a good hangout.
Yeah.
But I want you to come. I want both of you to come to my class at the new school and like zoom in and teach the kids, talk to the kids. They would love it.
Kids, what you don't understand is the highest peak of money is $2.45, and this is your highest goal.
I'm going to have a pipe and an ascot and be in front of a fireplace. What you have to understand about comedy is that it's not really comedy. It's tragedy.
Oh.
Tragedy posing as comedy. And the thing about I would love to come on and talk to the kids. You mean on Zoom? I can do that from where I am now in Missoula, Montana?
Is that where you are in Montana?
No, that's where I was born. But no, I'm in Southern California. But yeah,
Dana's a redneck.
Did you do guests on Zoom and they just talk to the kids about comedy and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really enjoy you guys in person. But what I really like the most is David Spade doing Dana Carvey doing something.
I had chopping broccoli, yeah. Because I used to sing that around. I go, God damn, this is funny. And it was sort of out of what I think like. And I'm like, this is so weird and goofy and just clever and smart because of its goofiness. But there's method to the madness of why it's so funny.
Can we get a little chorus of it as we fade out here?
I'm chopping braca. He goes low. I'm chopping braca.
She chop. You get
he goes into it.
That's toward the end. She chop.
Yeah. You got to get there. You got to work up to it.
Yeah.
All right, Ellen. Thank you, hon. Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com. Can you guys provide perspective on how it was viewed to break character on SNL? Asking because Spade stands out in my mind where he and Christina Applegate, of course. We laughed on the couch during Motivational Speaker. And in Lauren's voice for Dana, how was that viewed? Brian Steele.
It's so if you're going to break, it's that other type of joke. It's like fucking Carol Burnett. I mean, it's really not what we do. So you were not supposed to break when I got there.
Yeah.
And then it started to erode, and then you, David Spade, were in one of Chris Farley's his biggest moment on the show probably, and it was hard not to break.
Yeah.
Go talk to that sketch. Almost anyone would have broke.
That was and we'll probably have Christina Applegate on soon and we'll talk about it. But it was, and I see here over the years we've mentioned it to each other because it's turned into such a thing, but it was not planned, and you're not supposed to break, and you also could get fired. Dana knows it. I know it. It was the word around town, and it's not Lauren telling you that. It's other people, the other people around going, oh no, Lauren does not like that. So you could get fired. And so when you do it, it's fun, but afterwards you don't want to walk by him and have him go, okay, Tim Conway. Not the guy, wasn't he on Carol Burnett?
Yeah, Tim Conway, Harvey Korman, who were brilliant. And also Tim Conway, when they were on their sort of air show, live taping, would just switch stuff out. And that's how he would destroy Harvey Korman. If someone improvises outside their bandwidth on Saturday Night Live, that might make someone break,
Yeah, and they did it more in the future episodes and got away with it. And it is fun. It's always fun to watch that stuff. It can't be used as a trick. If the sketch isn't doing well, you can't.
Right, it can't be a crutch. But if it's organic, I think it is entertaining.
Yeah, and thank you, Brian, for listening, and thank you for
Where's
that question.
Brian from?
Probably Bulgaria. I don't know. It doesn't say. That's just a guess.
Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13.
Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes.
Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment. Production and engineering led by Greg Holtzman, Richard Cook, Serena Regan, and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.
Hey guys, it's Spadoodle. You can always go to davidspade.com to look at my tour dates because I bless a lot of cities in America with my hilarious stand-up act. Or you could not go to it and get on my enemy list. Up to you. Eric Andre is our guest today, who I don't really know well at all. I think I've seen him out, and I've obviously seen a ton of his stuff he does. Very clever, very crazy.
The Eric
very
Andre
outrageous,
Show.
And very smart dude. And I really like to sit with him and talk to him because I didn't know. I don't know anything about him. And so I have no judgment. Just like it's so great to see someone right in front of me. He came into the house and then we got to do it here, which is really fun.
Easy to talk to. Has a book coming out, Dumb Ideas. It really is insight into the intellect and the brain trust behind the Eric Andre Show and other things. He's a master of pranks. They've taken his hero, Johnny Knoxville, and, Borat and other things, and they postmodernized it, made it, it's incredibly entertaining stuff to watch. So doing the research, I became a big fan.
Yeah.
And he's fun and easy to talk to.
I hear his name a lot because a lot of people are like, did you see what he did? Did you see this? And he's just very good at all that and constructing these elaborate pranks. And they're really edgy and really where I was wondering, like, how do you not get the shit kicked out of you? Like,
Yeah.
It's so terrifying. Like some of the stuff that seems very illegal. And he's got his show and the movie and now the book. Just a great, interesting person. And we had a lot of laughs, I have to say.
If you're a fan of his, it also was just really just people talking in a room.
Yeah.
So it was very nice to get to know him and the mind
very
behind.
R-rated.
There was some description of some comedy pieces, and they were a bit adult.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Anyway, please enjoy our next podcast, number 375.
Million. Eric Andre. We have time for one more question.
That call you made to Dan Curry, I don't even know what that was about. I don't know what that was about. But no.
So who was the guy that would come into SNL or lady that came into SNL and you guys are all like, oh fuck, so and so's here. It's gonna be a long week. Maybe that's too shit.
No, it would be early on. You
to
just
that.
walk into Lauren's office and Mick, for my Mick Jagger's just sitting there in a
shit.
sweater. And you're like,
And he's like, make me fucking.
And then Lauren goes, coffee, and Danny goes, no thanks. He goes, no, get some. 2.
Didn't
We're
Eddie
quite
Murphy call
famous.
you when you made fun of Boomerang one time? I remember on Howard Stern,
Boomerang.
you made fun of Boomerang. You go, oh,
Whoops.
look, a star's fallen. And Eddie Murphy hounded you for like a week or something,
That's a sort
right?
of trimmed down version. But
let's get to the core.
Yeah, it
Is
was
this too gossipy?
No, but
we
I
don't
was-
have
No,
to be
we
this
want gossipy. We're so
all we
fucking
want.
boring. You're our most interesting guest so far. No one has asked this. You've mentioned us 3 times. This is already a blast.
No, listen.
We like to talk about ourselves. David, tell
I
the
was
Eddie
gonna
Murphy
say
story,
that
and I'll tell it from my
I thought
side.
your question a minute ago was who kind of freaked you out if they came to the offices?
Yeah.
Like someone is walking like Dan Aykroyd. They go, oh, Lauren, they go, Danny might stop by. And they're like, Danny? Danny Zuko? So
Billy. And then there was always
And then he
Paul
just
Simon
walks-
or Paul McCartney.
yeah, and they just walk in your office, hey, what's going on here? And then you're just writing some garbage sketch.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy came by, but he came to see Rock once. I don't even know if I was around because we didn't have I wasn't around. I think I made myself
I was
not
around for Eddie coming
Yeah.
back.
because I don't think he was mad at me at that point.
But he was for a
Yeah,
second.
that was a
huh?
real story. Yeah.
But did you write that joke, or did somebody write that joke for you and you said it and you're like, don't shoot the messenger? Kind of, how did you get out of it?
I should have said that. I didn't even think of saying that.
It's a quarter century too late. You could have saved so much.
That's what usually happens. You go, they write sketches. I go, I don't even know what's going on. Like when I did.
Well, it was the Hollywood Minute. It was a thing
I was
he
just
did,
making jokes.
where he would just shit on
it's
celebrities.
It's a joke.
You know what's funny?
joke.
It's
Like-
a tough. That's a.
I ran into Bill Bellamy. You know Bill
Yeah,
Bellamy?
yeah, yeah,
And he's a great guy. I saw him on the flight yesterday.
Billy B.
And he said, we were talking about, because I dated Idalis in the old days. Remember Idalis on MTV? She was a VJ. This might get too young for you.
Maybe.
But anyway, I mean, you're too young. But anyway, they were all friends. We were all friends. So anyway, and he's a great guy. So I said, he said, did you ever meet Downtown Julie Brown? I said, I did a joke about her and that was it. It was the same thing, Hollywood Minute.
Oh, you
She
made fun
was
of her?
it. Of course I get them when they're having trouble in their career, which is so fucking rude.
It's
I
funnier.
wouldn't do it.
We're tribal. Get 'em.
I said, wubba,
You were,
wubba,
you were like
wubba.
23 or something.
Yeah, I was, listen, I
You're
was
young and-
scratching to stay on the show.
Yeah.
And you were killing with that.
And when something worked, which most of it wasn't, when I get a read through and I'd be, I wouldn't have anything on. And then when I did that, and Lauren 2 weeks later saying, maybe Hollywood Minute this week, I'd go,
Yeah.
are you shitting me?
You're like, yes,
you want me to do something, of
Yeah.
course. And then everyone would be like, throw me their roughest jokes. But
Right.
Julie's was,
Thank you.
wubba, 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 my career's in trouba, trouba, trouba. And
That's a good.
and
that's
it was a
classic.
good
Nice
applause
little
break.
rhyme.
And,
Was that one of her hit songs or something?
no, she was a VJ that used to go,
Oh,
wubba,
she's a-
wubba, wubba.
That was her
That
catchphrase.
VJ.
That was her I caramba.
Yes, it was right.
Yeah.
Yep. And and I did that, and then I just heard through channels.
That she was
Back
pissed,
channels.
upset with you.
Yeah, MTV back channels.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
upset
Eddie
with me
Murphy.
than
First of all,
John Julie Brown.
Eddie, but before your thing happened, he just came back and he just was hanging out, which was kind of cool. This is maybe 89 or something. So he's Beverly Hills Cop. And he put out Party All the Time.
Yeah,
that song?
yeah, oh yeah.
And he told me how great his music was. And I said,
He
that's
told him.
cool. He tells me and he goes, I don't think you believe me. He goes, no, I really am the shit, man. Party all the time. And it was a pretty big hit.
It was a
I
hit.
wish I had that self-esteem. I wish I had that confidence and self-esteem.
And knowing you, people might
What do you mean?
clown
You
on
got
you for that.
Blurp or Blarp? Who's your music alter
you
ego?
can. No, that's it's no party all the time. I'll tell you that.
Party-
I'm just like tinkering with experimental shitty
His
noise
song
music on my computer.
Was a
and
toe
I-
tapper. Party all the time.
Party all
is
the time's a
catchy.
hit. Yeah, party all
Man,
the
I
time.
can't take it.
I love all that.
It's a
Listen,
hit.
the technology is advanced where I can, with a producer, double track, triple disc.
You putting out some
Good
jams?
plays.
Well, yeah, I got a lot of songs. I'm a catchphrase guy. That's all it is.
You got some jams coming
and
out.
one phrase over and over again.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's any good though.
Shove it down their gullet.
But it sure is fun.
Music I make, yeah. It's so horrible.
So, do you
but-
hate anyone in Hollywood actively right now?
I'm glad you brought that up. I have some bones to pick.
Do you have the list in your car?
I got the
Pick a
list.
Bone is his name. I know who we're talking about.
I mean, Lupita Nyong'o, first off.
Uh-huh.
She's in my crosshairs.
Fuck him.
No.
Charles Lascivio, that fucker.
Sir Lawrence Olivier. I don't know if
yeah.
he's dead or alive.
Billy Doo-Wop from Detroit.
No, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I don't
Yeah.
have big beefs.
Yeah,
I
good.
don't
That's the
have any-
thing.
I
That's
don't
the
even.
thing.
I'm not even cool enough to
I
have
could tell
beefs.
from all your prank stuff that underneath was kind of a marshmallow.
Yeah,
in a good
I'm,
way.
I'm just channeling my 13-year-old, id when I'm razzing celebs on my show. I'm not really.
Oh, do
I'm
you
not out
make
for
do you
blood.
make fun of celebrities too?
I make fun of
Well, on
celebrities.
the
too.
show-
Well, I have a talk show on Adult Swim that I prank celebrities in like an Ali
The
G
Eric
show
Jones?
fashion.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and it's
Yeah,
avant-garde.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's
It's more
avant-garde.
than prank. It's acid humor. Well, that's what we'd
Yeah.
say in our day. What would you
Yeah.
call it?
Yeah,
Avant-garde.
it's acid. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I saw one. With
People
some
are always like, "How high are you when you come up with this stuff?
Yeah.
What do you want?" I'm like, "Coffee and stress."
Who was
Yeah.
on where you just suddenly had a boob and you're feeling the milk?
Donald Glover. Donald
Okay.
Glover. I was
Good memory.
I had a realistic.
And it's all done very
titty.
casual. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting, or you're
Yeah.
eating or spitting up ashes, or it's just-
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's-
Yeah. I snorted my uncle's ashes out of the urn.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his music name? Donald Glover. Dana.
Dr. G.
Nope.
Dr.
No, maybe.
Dr. G. If it
Dr.
isn't, if it
G.
isn't now, what is now? Once he hears this, Danny Glover.
No, not Danny Glover. Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
And Dr. G. I think you were thinking of Dr. John from New Orleans.
Yeah.
In
But that was the guy who came in and killed the choir with the gun.
Yes, there you go. Okay.
That piece of work is brilliant.
Yeah, he's a genius.
That was a fun one.
That's
He's
great.
a-
That was a darling one.
And what about when you had the one I saw was T.I. comes on?
Yes,
I
he
think
was
what they do, they probably know it's going to be some sort of shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
Because he sits down and then you go, I'm getting a boner. And then it pops through the desk, your dick. And then you start jacking it off.
Yeah.
But his job is to act so cool about it. Is that what it is?
I don't know if he was that cool.
He was trying to be like
He was
nonplussed.
He was trying to be nonplussed. And nobody really knows what nonplussed means, but I'm going to say he was trying to be nonplussed.
Nonplussed.
I'm throwing it out there.
Non-plus 2?
He was recalcitrant. He was obdurate.
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't know what
He
it
was
is.
supercilious?
Those are good. Those real words.
Yeah, he was sacrosanct.
Community
whatever.
college, forgive him.
You should write a dictionary.
Which he's a Berkeley School of Music.
You're not
but we
smart,
didn't learn,
are
We
you?
didn't learn anything there. I went to jazz school.
Yeah.
It's like,
Jeez, this just in.
Learned how to go. Boom, boom,
yeah,
boom,
I just learned
boom.
the Seinfeld bass line over and over again.
Well,
Okay, what was your question? T.I.
and
Well,
then-
there was also full frontal male nudity.
And then
Not just the dildo, but there was a naked. We have a naked. One of our PAs on the show is naked all the time, so he was.
Who crawled out?
flashing
and
the
then-
gas?
By the way, Dane, in this
just
one,
coming out all
the
over.
wiener, I don't think it's really yours, comes out of the desk.
Yeah, that was a realistic looking
And
dildo.
then he whacks it off.
Yeah.
No, and then a zombie crawls out of the floor.
Oh yeah, he didn't like that.
Remember
either.
that?
Yeah, he didn't.
Now,
like
why
that
does
either.
T.I. have a problem with this stuff? Did he not know what the show was about?
He didn't really know. Nobody really knows or does their research, and we tell them little to nothing. We use all types of manipulative ways to juke around their publicist and get them in there without knowing.
There was a
much of
young
anything.
actress, one of the videos I saw, blonde hair, that you did something and you hurt my foot, and she seemed really distressed. Then it
Oh,
becomes,
yeah.
do you think, know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
You've only had
that was
7.
Karuchi Tran was her name. Karuchi Tran.
Yeah.
She's cute.
But they
Yeah.
come, and she's adorable, but
Who'd
they
you
come
go,
out
Chris Brown?
wide-eyed and
Yes.
they're just seeing it start
Gossip.
to happen. It's really a trip. When they
Yeah.
haven't seen the show.
They get quite stressed.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know what's
sometimes.
going on. They think they're going on like Seth Meyers.
Yes, yes, and then
And then
cockroaches will
someone's
fly out of
pulling
the
on
desk.
their balls from under their chair. They're like,
yeah.
He's got a little note card instead of a cock coming out of the
And, they
desk.
try,
It's like,
and you're like, hey, sorry about that. They're like,
so
"Hey,
your
no
parents
problem."
are really happy about your success.
No problem.
Seth, we're kidding. If you're listening, nothing is like this.
So,
Nothing
yeah.
is like on television that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
I'm
I
old.
hope, I
Eric.
hope not. Well, I mean, I'm the sum of my influences. There's a Ollie
I
G
know
show
who your high
influence and
3
Space
pieces
Ghost.
are. I want you to
Some
pick
of your
Yeah.
influences.
Tom
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah, Tom
Again,
Green, yeah.
master of distress and tension.
Yeah.
Loved his stuff. My kids went fucking nuts for
Yeah.
him.
Yep.
Ollie G, Borat.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
And
SEC.
and Jackass.
Yeah.
Were those the Holy Grail? I mean, there's others.
Those are the
but-
Holy Grail. That all came out when in the formative year, like when
you
I was
were-
in 12th grade and through college, and Chappelle Show was on during college years. So
Mhm.
those were like when I was trying to figure out when I was in the middle of jazz school, realizing that jazz school is not a promising career, and then I was like spending tons of money and going to jazz school, and then my parents were spending tons of money putting me through jazz school, and then I was like,
Nice.
towards the end of jazz school, I was like, "Don't worry, Dad, I figured it out. I'm not going to play the upright bass. I'm going to do comedy." And
I'm going to go into pranks.
yeah,
That's where the money is.
and my dad was from a third world country. He's from Haiti, and he became a doctor. He's like the American dream. So he was really not into.
You're doing
me
it backwards.
Yeah, I was undoing
You
the
start
American
with-
He
dream.
brings the American dream. You have this hope. My dad's quote to his friend, because I just left and did it on my own too. He goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ, can you believe my son wants to be a comedian?" That's the way he talked. And I didn't blame him,
Yeah.
but I just did it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. No, nobody's dad wants their kid
Well, they
to
just
be a comedian.
assume it's not going to work.
Yeah,
It's
nobody.
like, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to the moon.
Exactly. Music comedians. Johnny Carson was an amazing drummer. You know about that?
Yes.
He
Dane is a drummer.
He's a toe tapper.
He was a fucking toe tapper.
Yeah, I was a high school garage band
Ed,
drummer.
grab a
You're a
tambourine.
drummer.
I did it.
Fred Armisen and you are both
Fred
comedy
Armisen's
drummers.
a real
Armsen's
drummer.
serious about it, isn't it?
No, but
I
you're a
got
serious
lucky
drummer, right?
with Wayne's World. I practiced on a jazz set, and then Yamaha brought in this set,
Oh shit.
Motley Crue set.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't do the solo.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, they gave me the jazz set. But I did one as Church Lady with Danny DeVito.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing the Ringo, dun, 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 and that one came out really lucky.
Yeah,
on
that's
air.
amazing.
That was my mic. That's my lady beat Garth.
And Garth is your impression of your brother, right? And was your brother a drummer?
No, I added the drumming part.
It was a
but he was
combo.
the science part of Garth. Science nerd.
I like that you're very serious because the last thing I saw was you on your talk show and you just stare at the guests and then you look around and then you go, "Oh, it's a bucket of jizz," and then it pours all over. And then I'm like, they're like, "What the fuck?"
So I
ask me
read the
about my
book.
movie.
And it's interesting how you guys, your sort of true North Star was nothing can be too dumb. But in your book, you have a lot of rejected ideas.
Yes.
Like, that's too much. You
Well, a lot of those are rejected just because we run out of money.
Oh, because
We
it
don't
was
have
too
a
much.
big budget.
Do you have anyone you have to run anything by anymore, or is it just sort of you guys do whatever you want?
We always have. Adult Swim has always let us kind of do whatever we want.
I can't imagine some.
They
if
never
they didn't say
flagged
no to that
anything
shit,
like that's too far.
We had one thing that they pulled. We had a country singer come on and sing a pro Al Qaeda country song, and
in like 2005. Or something.
yeah, September 12th, 2001. But they were not. They freaked out. I don't know, but they freaked out late after we locked the episode and delivered it to them. I was like, I got a call when I was like on mushrooms in Canada, in Muskoka, Ontario, and
You were on mushrooms
With
when you
Bigfoot?
got the call?
I was on mushrooms when I got the call, and
I thought you were in a mushroom field for some reason.
I was on top of mushrooms.
You were on mushrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
And they they were like, we can't air this. I don't know. I think it went up there.
Somebody
Adult Swim channels, and then
saw
like
it.
the big boss man in the shadows.
Who is the biggest company that owns you? That show. That owns that show.
Who owns
Is it
Adult
Viacom or
Swim?
something?
I guess Adult Swim's owned by Turner, which is owned by Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus,
Which is owned by Lorne Michaels.
which is owned by Lauren
Which
Michaels,
is owned by Planet Krelyak. I mean, it's almost getting there. It's not.
Hey, AI's coming up. I'm just saying it.
Do you guys ever go back to SNL and do the show?
Mm-hmm. Well,
And is Lauren nice to you?
Yeah.
Lorne is like the
When do you get to get?
It's easier now because for me, I'm not as stressed as I was when I was there. You know, now it's over. He's not really my boss anymore. I come in to host or do something, and it's just fun.
So the anxiety isn't there
Anxiety is not
when
quite
you're
as.
when you're in your 20s.
It does
and it's
shoot
just
up when you go in the
punishing
hallways and you feel
You get the PTSD
the fear.
reaction.
Yeah, there's something very real about that.
you have your big break, and Lorne is the decider, of what gets on and everything.
Yeah.
And so there's a natural, like he's the teacher, he's the power, he's the coach you make fun of,
Yeah.
But then when you get away from the show and then you're hosting, you're hanging out with him. He's like your buddy all week. You see how he casually produces that show. And I would kind of come to the conclusion he might be irreplaceable. Like
So he's got to live forever.
he has
He's gotta do
to.
experimental
It's
surgery
gene
so he
editing.
lives forever.
It's called the CRISPR. We can edit
We're
genes
working on it,
and
yeah.
you live a really long time. If anyone could do it, but he is. Now I'm just super fond of him. I see him as way more sensitive and vulnerable than I realized. This impenetrable socialite kind of erudite character that's part of his comic persona.
Yeah.
But he's a really good friend. He loves baseball. He's just very.
You
But
can
the
do a
pressure
sketch,
must-
Lorne Michaels, year 3000. They've kept him
Do you,
alive.
did you
He's a
ever have a
robot.
moment where you thought you'd want to get on that show?
When I was starting, like when I finally got like an agent and a manager in my mid 20s,
Mm-hmm.
I put together a couple audition tapes, but I never got the call. And then towards the end of my 20s, Eric Andre show started. So.
It seems to me like when you're doing these pranks and you're out there and you're bleeding in the park or something,
Yeah.
like you
Classic
really have
bleed
to
in the
be a
park.
great actor.
I'll take it.
You're
Thank you.
acting, and you've
Yeah.
got people there, and you can't.
You only
for a
have one
minute-
take, really.
Can I ask you a technical question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've got a lot of shots, so you're bleeding, and people are coming up to you. And you've got all these shots, and you
Yeah.
kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking of crew, but is it just people
Is it a
who are
backpack or
pretending to be
something?
onlookers
Yeah.
with hidden
Yeah,
little
hidden
cameras?
camera means
Okay.
hidden
That was
crew.
the only way.
Yeah, hidden camera means hidden crew. So the crew is playing
Like Secret
clothes.
Service. They're
Playing
like
clothes, and they're
cops.
just
Totally.
around the action.
And they
They're
have
like,
their Apple earbuds in as if they're
Oh,
listening
is
to
that
music,
what it
but
works?
that's like a Comtech or like their walkie. And
I love
I love
the
it.
they
sophistication.
have like, they'll be like a microphone and a coffee cup by a garbage can, and those backpack GoPros. There's GoPros everywhere.
Yeah.
Inside is a different plan than outside. Interiors are
that's much
interiors.
easier.
You have to build hides. Interiors are way harder.
Hidden camera.
And exteriors are a lot easier.
Build hides, Dana. Scribble it down.
Yeah.
Well, I know what hides
What about
were.
when you're outside and you're, first of all, obviously you'd be scared to get shot or beat up. I think those pranks literally today are even scarier.
We got a knife. Me and Tiffany Haddish and Lil Rel Howery did a prank movie called Bad Trip. It's like a narrative. It's like Borat, a narrative
It's on
prank
Netflix.
movie on Netflix. And the first prank Rel ever shot with us, it was the first day of shooting, and we got a knife pulled out on us. We went into a barber shop in the hood with our penises stuck in a Chinese finger trap. And we're stretching. They're prosthetic dicks, but they look realistic. So the dicks are stretching back and forth.
I thought that on I Love Lucy.
The dicks are stretching back.
Yeah, we ran into this barber shop.
Yeah, Fred Mertz and Desi Arnaz doing that? I don't think
it's
so.
an old I Love Lucy. It's from the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
And no, we ran into this barber shop and we asked the barber, we're like, hey, can we borrow your scissors? We're stuck in this Chinese finger trap. And he was like, oh, he went into this homicidal rage, looked for his gun, which he told us later that he forgot that day that he brings to work every day, and then found his knife and then chased us out with a knife. And then Rel quit the movie for a little bit. Then we had to beg him back.
I get it.
Yeah. It was a little bit stressful. It's a bit stressful.
Yeah, there is that. The high wire act of that brings part of the entertainment to the viewer.
You know what people don't like
in on
also?
it, obviously. Go
I
ahead.
think that some people, if you're doing something that's super sexual toward guys, they get really mad too. Do you find that? You know what I mean? Like if you go rub naked and it's like one of those bits, guys get really freaked out. Like they're embarrassed, they're humiliated, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think we were in a
I
pretty
don't.
rough.
Let me hear a
I
story
like
about
naked guys rubbing up against me, even if it's real.
I thought that was just a rumor.
Well, we were in a bit of a rough around the edges neighborhood in Atlanta, and I don't even think the guy heard us. We just walked into the barber shop with our penises covered. I almost fell over, and then we went, "Excuse me, sir, can you help us?" And then he just saw our dick stretching back and forth. So we just looked like eccentric perverts flashing him in his establishment.
Was it silly putty or was it your real dick?
It was a prosthetic. It was a prosthetic penis piece made by these Oscar award winning.
Italian.
We've been around in this territory a lot on the podcast. The stretching penis thing.
You can buy those anyway.
It's fascinating. The one that I thought was extra kind of brilliant was you come in and you have the street vendor, and you get a wig on. And you start putting lipstick on.
Oh, yeah. I love that
and
you've seen
then the cop comes in.
Yeah.
And you're trying to, don't give me up. And then he wants the wig
the
back.
cop goes, have you seen this guy? He's a homicidal murderer on the loose. And at this point, I have a wig on, sunglasses, and lipstick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're both the cop and I are facing the guy we're pranking. And I went to the guy, don't you say a fucking word.
Yeah.
So he's pointing. He's
Don't
trying
you
to
say
get
a
the cops.
fucking word.
Yeah, he's trying to get the cops.
And the guy's really, really freaked
So the
out.
cop's an actor and doesn't pick up on it.
No, but then someone else comes in
and then a
passes it
security
up.
guard comes up and he goes, have you seen this guy? And he shows a picture of the cop, a mugshot of the cop. He goes, he's impersonating a police officer. He's wanted for murder.
And then they both start
And then
going,
both
don't
start,
you fucking
don't you
say a word.
fucking word.
That's kind of next level in a
that
way.
is good.
That's so clever.
The guy
that
was very
The
stressed.
one where
Chaplain or
you're dressed as an all gold guy statue,
Oh, yeah. I love that
and
you
then
guys
there's a
watch
silver
this.
statue.
Yeah.
And then you casually go over and whack them with a pole or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they go,
You beat the, it really
and
fast
then
sounds
a cop
violent.
comes over and you hit
Yeah.
the cop, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
So he's the gold statue, trying to get money in the park,
busker.
and there's a silver
Yeah.
statue,
Yeah.
and your guy goes and just starts beating the shit of
Yeah.
the silver man. And
He's on your
people are
turf.
going, what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That was
But
awesome,
no
too.
one first of all, no one's helping anyone anymore. But they get nervous and run away. But I would think there's so much crime now. It's harder to even scare people because it's so common
Yeah.
that they just keep walking like this is normal, this is real,
Yeah.
and I better go.
You just know
People
it's
are
some-
on edge.
Everyone's
you
on
can
edge.
always you can scare people. It's
I get scared all the time. I don't like to be pranked.
nobody really likes to be
No.
pranked.
Because it usually is.
I don't like to be
It's
pranked.
usually like I look good, you look stupid, and the end. You know what I mean? And the guy, you see the guy in the mall. There's a kid, and he was being weird to some guy, and the guy turned around and shot him.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure that made it across your desk.
Yep. I've been talking about that.
Has your staff, has Dan or other guys, have they pranked you?
Yeah.
Never ends.
I mean, right now I'm doing a show on ABC with Johnny Knoxville, and he's like hitting me with tasers and stun guns every 5 seconds.
What is the name of this one?
This is Prank Panel.
Yeah.
Well, it's called
Prank
Prank
Panel.
Tank,
Yeah.
which is such a better name, but Shark Tank wouldn't give us the...
Really?
You
Give us
have
the
to run that
okay,
by
yeah.
them?
They own Tank.
Oh, it's ABC?
It's ABC versus NBC shit.
Yeah.
So Shark Tank's NBC. This is ABC. Yeah.
Prank
So
Tank is a good name.
Prank Tank rolls off.
Dana,
the
let's do
tongue.
Prank Tank.
Yeah,
Prank
you can
Tank.
do it if you
Yeah,
can get
we've got
Mr.
the
Wonderful
poll.
to give you the
We can
okay.
ask Lauren to make
So
it happen.
I remember
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
this because on Johnny's Instagram. So yeah, so it's you guys go out and do you get regular people? Is that how it works?
It's just like Shark Tank for pranks. So like people come on and they pitch their
okay.
prank to us, and we either say yes, your prank's awesome, we'll do it for you, or we're like nah, pass. And then, but
I
we
like
also
that.
are pranking each other.
And then you go if you like their prank, do you go actively do it?
we actively we produce it for them, so we might not be incorporated in the
okay.
prank. We usually like help them.
Is it just you and Johnny, or is there a
That's
third?
me, Knoxville, and Gabrielle Sidibe.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
the three of us at one point were all armed, like the second day of shooting. Like I had a stun gun on me. She had pepper spray.
Oh, ready for each other.
And she
What
had
a drag.
taser. Yeah, it was a bit intense. But my crew has pranked me, but it was like kind of like inside joke stuff. I mean, my producer, Dave Burnett, on the movie, he made a credit scroll. He's like, the movie's locked. You just got to approve the credit scroll. And he left my name out of all of the opening credits. He put everybody else. It's pretty tame
And
next
you
to a
had to go.
taser to the neck. But
You had to go up and go, hey.
I had called the guy from MGM because it was at MGM first. And I was like, I've worked on this movie for 7 years. I had a meltdown. I was like, I've worked on this movie for 7.5 years. You're not even put my fucking
it's
name
so
in the
obvious of a miss, and you're like, do you know who's in this movie? He's like, oh, Jesus.
And the guy from MGM was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He didn't know. He wasn't looped
you
in on the
called
prank.
highest guy out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
fucker.
Yeah, I went full Joe Pesci on him. I thought nuts. So
Johnny, like he's got all these injuries. He was on our podcast. It's very interesting how much
he's
pain
got
is.
so many. It's 16 concussions and a brain
He
hemorrhage.
pees through his eyeball. Did you hear this?
And he had
He did. He broke his urethra.
and he had to wear
seems
something
squishy.
inside his urethra for.
Yeah, he had to pee with a catheter for 3 years. It's fucking crazy.
I peed for
Because you've
3
avoided
days
all
with
of that. You could think
Yeah,
you've
I've
maybe
hurt myself a
taken
little bit, but
falls.
not like him. I asked him one time, I was like, why do you hurt yourself so much? And he went, deep self-loathing.
Plus, I think when the show's a hit, then they do a movie. The movie is so fucking exciting to go see that first time.
Yeah.
And they're going at slow motion, the shopping cart, and everything's blowing up.
They're the
In the
best.
beginning, if you're a kid, I don't know how old I was, like maybe even 20.
Again, I
30.
had
was like,
kids at
this
the
is so
age where
fucking
that
cool.
was.
Yeah, but it works for every age because it's primal. Like
Yeah,
an
I love
old, like an 80-year-old man can watch it, and a 12-year-old kid can watch it. I think boys like it a little bit more than girls, but
Just
it's
climbing on a
primal. It's
rocket.
international too. Like it's just it's all physical.
need to know
humor. You don't
English.
you don't need to know English or
Yeah.
any language. You can watch it muted.
But that's what I'm saying is he probably keeps doing because it's like they throw money at him, like this is your thing, and now it's like
Yeah.
too much his thing. And then you act and stuff, and they're like, no, fall down.
No, yeah, get hit by a bull.
I think in the old days, when you date, and today, you sort of just, it unfolds as you get to know them without Googling everything about their life before you see them. But
Yeah,
maybe it's known as a safety measure in quotes, but it's really, it's almost too much to know too fast.
yeah. Social media ruins the getting to know you some portion of dating someone.
50% of hookups.
A little bit.
50% of non-celebrity hookups now are on social media or Tinder or those sites.
50%.
50%. So
Could see
the
that.
tall men are harvesting. So it's like there'd be the stud in the neighborhood in the olden days, and he'd harvest the neighborhood. Now the tall guy can carry counties, Northern California.
Wait, what's going on?
Well, it's just bioevolution, you know, because it's just all a digital image, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the good
But there's
looking
also filters, and then there's actually girls that are AI, so they show up my feed, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know if this is a and then they're like, I make $50,000 a month, and I'm a fucking robot. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
They're getting
You can't
better
really
than
tell.
that, though.
You can't tell how someone really is from a two-dimensional image of them.
Right.
You really got.
I'm personality based.
But aren't we all our digital image? Like I never saw John Wayne in person.
Yeah.
He's just an image.
Yeah.
He was
I never saw.
gigantic.
Yeah.
7'6".
You know what he really was? Bob Mitchum told me this. Look him up, kids. Anyway, so he had the cowboy boots plus lifts. He was a true 6'4", so that put him at 6'7". Then
He really was giant.
And then he would wear a cowboy hat, and he got up to about 280, 300 pounds.
Whoa.
So when you see him in movie, they can barely fit him in the cabin with the other actors.
Whoa.
You
So
know,
he'd come
he's a
in and
Bigfoot.
sort of
and
pivot.
what's the rumor about when he died? He ate so much meat. Do you know the rumor?
No, that was Elvis.
55 pounds of meat in his colon.
They call it
come on.
That's what I heard.
That's like the
impacted
elephant
fecal
man's
matter, David. Please.
It's that's right. Impacted fecal
but
matter.
that was Elvis.
Now I'm getting turned on.
There was 37 hot dogs in his colon when he died.
Elvis was pooping. That is not the way
He
you want
was,
to
and
go.
he was alone in the mansion. Can I get some paper? Anybody here?
Even a paper towel.
He was on barbiturates or something, right?
He was
Barbiturates.
He was all pilled.
Sound
out.
like Adam 12.
It's like
Were you on whites, zoomers, poppers, bing bongs?
The reds, the yellows, the fizzies,
Ice
the
baths.
juicies.
that's more. That's
Pow, yellows.
that's Judy Garland. You know, the uppers and the downers, and Elvis was
Really?
in that too.
Judy Garland was flying high.
Oh, Mickey Rooney told me that.
You ever seen that Doc Ellis pitching on LSD cartoon?
Didn't
Doc
he pitch
Ellis
a
was
no-hitter or something?
Yeah, he pitched a no-no. He pitched a no-hitter on LSD in the 70s. He
Beat
was
me
in
on
the
the
Pittsburgh.
lingo.
Let me ask you guys a
I
question.
don't know.
Like now, in
I don't know anything about baseball, but
That's a good
no,
one, though.
no.
You gotta
that's
know.
when he was like,
do
he
you
talks about
think
the yellows
cannabis
and the-
is a performing enhancing drug? Because they're busting
for me.
track athletes.
Not for me. I don't think it's a performing enhancing drug for athletes.
Yeah, I know. They busted another
I
one.
think that's
yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
old school bullshit. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I like what-
Maybe you could say it like soothes your injuries, so you have a step up.
Or
on
you kind of
I know
hyper focus
nothing
for
about
some
sports.
people, but
Maybe
it's
not my drug.
I
It
don't
hits
think
me
so.
sideways.
Bill Murray said in the old days, it's sad when the scariest thing about weed is getting caught. Like there's nothing really bad it does you.
Yeah.
He was saying back in the day.
Do you smoke, Mary Jane?
I smoke a little bit, but when I went, I told Dan I went to one of the weed stores to get a weed pen 'cause my neck's bad. And I was like, I just want a weed pen. They're like, which one of these 600 float? I'm like, 600? I don't know. I
Yeah,
go, this
wow,
is where you
weed.
come in. I go, give me that purple, North Slope Vietnamese hash oil. And so the guy goes, oh, and then the manager came out and he goes, oh, David Spade. He puffs up. He goes, hey, go grab him some fentanyl crab cakes and get him some LSD candy corns. And I'm like,
Great
no,
word
I'm
package.
okay.
Fentanyl
You know what I mean? They have
crab cakes
all
has
this
a good
weird
sound.
shit. People go, just take a gummy. I take a couple milligram. I take a
No.
chocolate. And I go, but how do you know? How many do you do it before you get to the one you go, this is the one that works? You must flip out.
I can't do the.
Are they
edibles.
strong?
No, I can't do it. I
See.
can't even smoke weed. It just bugs me out. I don't know. I have too much.
can't do
on
it
my
And
Yeah.
everyone
brain.
thinks you're such a burnout.
I
too, right?
hallucinated
No,
on
I-
edibles.
Yeah, no,
it
it's
was
too
horrible.
strong. It's the only drug I can't do.
Horrible.
Is
But I
weed.
think you're right, is when people say, they must say to you, you must have been so baked. When
You must be so stoned.
And you're like,
when
no, it's hard to
doing
think
that
of
stuff."
smart things when you're wasted.
No, yeah, caffeine is my only drug.
that's
while
where
I'm
it's at.
working. But yeah, weed it doesn't hit me right, especially edibles. It's just a bad trip every time. 5 Hour Energy, on the other hand, I'm boofing.
I think
that. I'm
Seinfeld
putting
had
that
a
on my
10-minute chunk on that.
10 minutes.
5 hour energy. Why? After 3 hours, you only have 2 hours left on Jerry Seinfeld.
I took a sip. What am I, 15 minutes?
But he just had fun with the concept of
It is funny.
I think
5
we're going to
energy.
call it 5 hour energy.
This is a
Fuck
good
you guys.
hook. It's a good
It's
hook.
going to call 5 hours. And placebo
Means
is real.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Listen, before
Let's look at
that's
our
a
notes
no,
here.
I have a question
Okay, note it up.
before we get into Emily Ratajkowski, which would be the last 45 minutes.
Yep.
When
I
people
saw
say,
that.
a lot of our viewers said, because the clickbait I saw was Eric Andre with Emily Ratajkowski, one of them's naked. I'm like, click on it, and I go, oh, it's the other one.
No, but then
didn't
she was naked too, but in the background. If that's the picture, you know, when you go into that maelstrom, then you become
Maelstrom?
inside that
Maelstrom.
that energy.
I'm nonplussed right now.
Yeah, exactly. We each
I don't
got
know
one
what
in.
Maelstrom is, but I'm
Well, I don't know if I use it
Is it like
properly,
a
but
mousetrap?
it's kind of like if you date a kind of another
Right.
kind of celebrity, you go into their ecosystem of how, as an influencer or whatever, she's constantly photographed all around the world.
A whole different
And then-
crowd.
yeah, that's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
Maelstrom. Well, why didn't you say so?
ecosystem.
A Venn diagram of demographics.
Yeah.
Nothing's clicking for me yet.
I did a gummy before I got
Yeah,
here.
that's
so I'm
good.
gonna really
because
you
like
don't handle marijuana, and that's
I know.
like
I
Taylor
don't know why I
Swift.
did it.
Why did you
I
do
panicked.
it, Eric?
Panicked.
Damn it!
you might not have heard this. Taylor Swift's dating Travis Kelce. So
Dating
one
Travis Scott. Is that what you said?
Travis Kelce.
A
Travis
football
Kelce.
player. That one is even matriculated to my brain. I've seen it. The
Wow.
football player and the
He's
pop
showing
stuff.
off.
My endoplasmic reticulum is.
I
I
remember
have 3 words left. I'm going to save them for
I
the last
remember-
one.
establishmentarianism.
we thought when Ashley Judd, when I was doing something for Paramount, she was doing like this one of those spider movies, whatever. Ashley Judd was great. And we were friends. And I told her once she had dictionary mouth because she kept saying words like that and it kept throwing me. And I go, are you doing that on purpose? She's like, no. And I'm like, no, you can't throw that many into a sentence.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Yeah.
Back to Taylor Swift and
Travis
Kelce.
Kelce.
Yes.
So that's,
I'm dating Travis Kelce. Is that what you're getting? I see where
But
this
do
is
you-
going, and I just want to get ahead of it.
do you
I
feel like
heard
there's
the
a
rumors.
weird
I chose
interest
not to believe.
from her fans and your fans, and you got to be careful because you don't want to make her fans mad? Is there anything like that?
No, I don't think. Maybe I should think that way, and I'd be more successful if I thought that way. But I don't.
I don't think
I don't
that's
think that way.
what you think.
So she
that wouldn't bother you.
she
Whatever.
was
No,
aware
no,
of you, and then she probably meets you like you are now, and it's you know
Because you seem like an interesting guy.
a charming,
You seem like-
calm,
Yes.
you're not, but you seem
sophisticated,
I'm a bit boring.
sophisticated.
that's me. You,
Drab.
you know what I
I'm
get?
nonplussed.
You know who I have a crush on, and everyone gives me shit. David Spade. You know, everyone gives me shit about that. I go, just say, like on Instagram, you can say you have a crush on me. You can say, you know, I think is cute, David Spade, without adding an addendum of like, you know who's actually kind of cute? They throw actually in a lot. And I'm like, just to keep your friends at bay, like, don't worry, I know too. I know.
You're getting hurt, but
I'm
I don't get
walking into this-
anything like that at my time on the planet. You know, when you get in my age group, there's no caveat. You're still in the cute age group.
Yeah. I get Beauty and the Beast. I've dated some, good-looking
I get
people
that.
in the public eye. People go Beauty and
Yeah,
the
of
Beast every time,
course.
and I go, look, I'm not a male model, but I'm not the fucking elephant man.
I
Give me
know.
some.
Well, what
I
is
look
your
like
type?
Steve Urkel
I
for the
get
first
that.
20 years of my
When
life.
I
Give me
went out-
something.
Heather
Let me have
Locklear
something.
or Nicolette Sheridan, it was always like this fucking piece of shit. Like it was the same thing. It was Beauty and the Beast is one, but I always thought you couldn't flip that and say this great looking guy is with this dog face whore. It's like, well, I mean, goddamn. But with us, it's like you guys. It's
are
a one safe
celebrities.
thing to say about guys. They're gross.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've
I
been
don't
married
care.
40 years
Oh,
to 6 different women. But my point is, you know what? This joke I did.
finally stopped-
simultaneously.
They stopped saying Beauty and the Beast to him a long time ago.
Here's a bad pun.
Wife
Because
is
you
very
mentioned
pretty.
Heather Locklear. When I was doing the grumpy old man with her, I go, Heather Locklear.
Jesus.
I don't do jokes. But that's something you would do on,
Don't put that on me. I'm not.
on your
Take
show.
that back.
You got dicks connected by
I'm
bungee
doing it to
cords.
the barber, not Heather Locklear.
So I'm fucking a chess set. You walk in, jack off this midget. Then we're gonna. I want to be in your writer's room.
Sure, anytime. Come on down.
I mean,
you're gonna make $300 a week, brother man.
Wait.
But what do I
Cha-ching.
net?
Oh, I have one more question, Dana.
$7 in a sandwich.
That
I've got a lot.
I know all this gossipy stuff. I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
honey,
listen,
spill the tea, girl.
listen.
Yes.
When you, I don't know if Dana saw this or the listeners at home. You're at a. This is the one that scared me. When you have someone crammed in a suitcase and they're trying to get out, and all these people around, and they're saying help, and you go, "You
The
shut
hands.
the fuck up." With
Yeah.
anyone that is any, obviously people kind of want to help, and you tell them to shut up, mind their fucking business, and I'm like, God damn! It's just the most weirdest, grossest feeling because people don't know what to do and they think they should kill you. They're like,
Yeah.
"I'm here to save a kidnapping."
Yeah.
And who is in the?
That was a Russian, what are they? Contortionist. I think her name was Olga. I'm not making that up.
It wasn't even that big of a
You're
suitcase.
rolling a suitcase just for the people listening.
Yeah,
You're rolling a
yeah.
suitcase.
It's not
and
the best bid in the world. But
No,
like,
it's good.
It's it was good. It's the way you play it. There's the setup,
It's
and it's
a good
all
bit.
your
It's not-
acting.
and
So
you're
there's a hand that's not all the way zipped up.
And we have safe words too. I was like, Olga, when you say popcorn, I'm going to let you out. She's like, I'm fine. This is no problem. And she's like, I could be in here for hours.
I'm human pretzel. What is problem, Mr. Andre Eric? I'll talk like this for no reason. No, but then there's a hand, and so people are noticing what the fuck, and then you're yelling at them, which David, it's so funny
people are
that you're
"Hey,
like angry.
who's in there? And you go, you shut the mind your
You said it's like
business.
a puppet or a toy.
No, yeah.
No,
I don't
you're
remember
telling
that bit, to be
people.
honest with you.
Yeah, like excuses.
We
of
know
like-
you're-
It's obviously a real person.
Do you remember the one where
That's my
like you're hanging from a? No, I'm sorry.
No,
we thought of stuff
that
you'd never
one-
remember.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I want to
I love this.
I
shit.
love that
wanna
you
look
guys
at
have
my
actually
notes?
seen it. I'm flattered.
Sure.
things that you may want to get to. Well, this is kind of interesting. Would you really think you're banned from SNL because of that issue?
Oh no, I shouldn't have said anything. I'm not, and
It's in your
I was.
book.
I was. Is it? Oh, it
Oh,
is in my
maybe it's
book.
on your Wikipedia page.
Well, it's in my bio.
I talked to your mom.
No, it was like a.
Just a stupid
He's not
thing.
allowed to come to the show for the rest of the year, kind of
Right.
thing, with somebody that doesn't work there anymore. And I
Yeah.
met the woman that replaced her, and she was like, "F that lady, you're always welcome
Yeah.
to come by anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
It's
worry
just a
about
dumb
that." That
thing.
was like
It
a
just
very
sort of-
fleeting thing. I got too drunk before taping. I just wanted to come as an audience member to a taping, and I planned on enjoying a taping. It was
Yeah.
with it was Selena Gomez was hosting, and Post Malone
It
was,
was
the
great.
musical.
She was
Yeah,
great.
she's
And I was there, and I drank hurricanes. Slurricanes.
A
Yeah, how did you know?
hurricanes?
Did I say that? Do I say it in the book?
Yeah.
I drank slurricanes. Yeah, and they're
what
very
is a
strong.
hurricane? Just want to know.
It's rum, passion fruit syrup, and lemon.
It's
But
everything.
there's 4 ounces of Jamaican rum in it, so they're very boozy
Aye.
and very sweet. So you
4
knock
ounces.
back one, and it's like the strength of 3 cocktails in one, and it's so sweet. That
And
you
where
don't
did
really-
you have this cocktail?
I did it-
Downstairs in a bar?
No, I had a screening of Bad Trip earlier that day. We never got to screen the movie because of COVID. So we did these like 1-year anniversary screenings
Okay.
a year after
So
the movie
that's-
came out when life was kind of coming back to semi-normal. So we did a screening in LA and a screening in New York. So in the afternoon, I was
Mhm.
like, this is the red carpet celebration I always wanted to have.
Yeah.
And I made hurricanes in my green room, and we drank. I only drank like 3 of those things, but I got fucking.
And then you go to
Hammered.
SNL and you're still
I
buzzed.
went to him. I was more than buzzed. I never throw up from drinking. I never ever throw up from drinking, and since I was, in high school or something. And I was gonna throw up, and I was like, it's better that I just get up and leave and not throw up in the crowd
Right.
than throw up in the crowd. That
During
was
her
it.
monologue.
Yeah, it was like
Selena.
right at the top, and I was like, I don't want to vomit here.
And it's
That
so
would be very
dead
bad.
silent and you're stiff and you're
And
just trying to get the
very
spins.
cramped.
Yeah.
Like the seats are
Yeah, it's very tight.
tiny.
The floor.
floor seats are really
You don't
jammed.
realize how tiny it is on
It's huge.
television, like the sets and everything. That studio
It's
is
tight.
Like it's
Yeah.
tight. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I don't want to vomit. And I turned to my date and I was like, I don't feel great. I might throw up. I have to get fresh air. She's like, I'm easy. We went outside. I went to a halal cart on whatever street, 54th Street, and I just started wolfing down halal, and then I felt like $1 million and I went home. But it was I did not want to throw up and disrespect
I think you
Selena
did the right
Gomez
move.
or Lauren.
They don't
or
love
Post
when
Malone.
That's
people
a
throw up.
comedy
So,
killer.
yeah.
Unless it's fake vomit on your show.
I would love it
Yeah.
on live. I mean, what would you do on live? And Selena would have to say something.
I was far enough back, but I was quite inebriated, and I needed to go home. I needed
Right.
to go home. It was
So
time
what-
for me to go home.
My question was when you were saying about SNL, there was some interest, but was it a little too late? Like you got on your own show and it was sort of known as cool?
Well,
And
on my show, I had full creative freedom to do any
Yeah.
sketch
Mhm.
or prank or whatever I wanted. So it felt like
You did the right thing.
it would have been lateral at best if I got on.
Would
Yeah.
you
SNL at
host
that point.
if they called?
Oh
you?
yeah, absolutely.
All right,
You have
let's
to-
make
You
a
have
little-
to say yes. Any comedian that says no is lying.
Yeah.
You have to have
'Cause
that
I- just
experience.
from
I'm sure it's
watching you-
incredibly nerve wracking, but
You'd be great because you do stand up. You're
Yeah.
2 specials and you do sketch.
And you're willing to do a lot, which they love. They love
Yeah.
if they write, and then you
Mhm.
could probably
I
bring
wonder
in
if I
some
could
guys.
pre-tape pranks.
You
can pre-tape
would
stuff,
if you
yeah.
hosted. They would do that.
I would love to do,
You know.
obviously the monologue and sketches during the
Mhm.
the main event, but I'd love to pre-tape pranks around New York, like earlier in the week.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be-
because they do pre-tapes. Because I saw it this weekend, and there's 1 or maybe even 2. And what
Yeah,
you
they
used to
do.
do as a host, you come in on a Monday, we do nothing until Monday night meeting at 6. But I think they pull you and make you shoot Monday now, and then maybe even Tuesday, because you don't have to do much as a host on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't imagine the fucking pressure.
It's so hard.
I can't imagine that pressure.
It is a
Why
lot.
is it live? Why is it live? Like it's only making everybody's life so much more stressful.
Well, one of the
Why not
things,
just
and I
pre-tape
don't
it?
know anyone had the prescience to to figure this out.
It's embarrassing now.
It is
It's like Noam Chomsky.
it's a
over here.
sporting event, and it's also
It's a
the
sporting
fact
event.
that it's live.
Yeah.
I can enjoy it if the show's kind of tanking and you can see people kind of just not happening.
Yeah.
Especially on the
That's
East
fun,
Coast, because
yeah.
there'll be a little bit of a sweeten for the West Coast. Of course,
Yeah.
now you can see it on Peacock Live.
Yeah.
Anyway, I own stock
Thanks,
in
commercial.
Universal. Look, Peacock, where all the good shows live. That's a byline I wrote. I get an annuity. Fuck that. Anyway,
It's almost the show that shows Yellowstone.
but I feel it.
Isn't that a different one? Oh, that's Paramount, yeah.
No, Yellowstone has been reconfigured. Now it's on CBS and getting huge numbers,
they
like
doubled
crazy
down, yeah.
numbers.
Oh, was there some controversy or something?
No,
I'm
they
out
did-
of the loop.
They
man.
just it's probably a little cleaned up because it's a little dirty.
There was a lot of violence and some swear words and stuff.
Nope.
That's all.
I don't.
They took that
I
out.
don't like
I
any
know.
swear words. I
Nope.
don't like any blue humor.
Yeah.
By the
not
way,
funny.
the name of your book,
Is dumb ideas.
Dumb Ideas.
But you were about
And
to
it's
say
out now.
something. You were about to say something. You said prescient, and then you're.
Oh, I think I just meant that Saturday Night Live is a de facto reality show. You're seeing a football player or an actress try to do sketch comedy. So you're struggling with them.
Good or bad?
right.
And so that's one compelling aspect. The other one is when someone comes on, you got 20 cast members, but this new man or woman comes on and this is their big break.
Yeah.
And you start to noticing them go up the food chain more and more and seeing them evolve. You see the audience start to discover the performer.
Yeah.
The performer then gets more confident. And you see it with, Kristen Wiig, David, anybody. And that journey is also very compelling. So I don't know if in 1975, Lawrence like, we'll have these other lanes. It'll be a comedy
Yeah.
show. We'll have comedians, but we're going to play in these other arenas.
Breaking
Right.
bands too. When I was there, we saw
and
Nirvana.
breaking bands.
Yeah.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Like when you're on there and you go, I can tell
This band's
these
good.
people will be big. I
Yeah.
can't personally, but I was told
Yeah.
these guys are good. I honestly, when Pearl Jam came on the second time, now I love them, but it takes me forever. I'm like Europe. It takes about 2 years to get what people like.
Yeah.
And then when they came on, I go, oh, Pearl Jam, are you going to do a live? That's my favorite. And the guys go, we did that last time. And I go,
Well, here's a
They were on
here's a
before?
triple question for you.
well, I'm so locked into my sketches, Eric.
Here's a triple question.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Love a triple question.
As a consumer, as an artist, musically, film, television, anything you watch or see or read, you're actually what you find most attractive in a woman in terms of her personality, and do you have a type? And is it?
I don't think this is a triple question. It's a,
No, I
Well,
think
I
it's
was
a
trying to
single
think of a
question.
third one, but I didn't want to go political.
All my answers are hack for that question.
That's
It's
good,
always
though.
it's sense.
What do you
Yeah.
like?
Well,
you
it's
don't like
changed my-
personality, do you?
My therapist would be very proud for me to say. My therapist said,
You really have a therapist?
Yeah, several. I have several. My therapist said a great thing. They said, they can be physically attractive,
Mm.
but it can't be the first thing. It's got to be like the fourth thing.
Mm.
If it's the fourth thing and they have three other qualities that are higher in the ranking, that's better. If
Sense
it's
of
just
humor.
sense of
would have to-
humor. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It sounds very hack, but it's true
No,
because
but
sense of
those are
humor
archetypal.
tells you if somebody's intelligent. It tells you
Mhm.
their worldview. It tells
Mhm.
you if they're on the same wavelength
Yeah.
as you. If your
Yes.
sense of humor is
Yes.
and
more
matching, it's telling you green flags for all these other qualities.
And-
Specifically, if it's like, it's sort of when girls say, I like a sense of humor.
girls.
It's or women, whatever. I can't say girls anymore. I say boys though.
Yeah,
Girls and
boys.
But
Yeah,
but
I mean-
for women, if say sense of humor,
The Rock is a really cool boy.
it's like saying I like music. It's a little vague. So you say what kind of sense of humor, and if it jives with yours, then it's a big hit. You know, like there's people that think I'm funny and people that think I'm not funny. So I'm not funny. So if you see someone and then it sort of it's on the same wavelength, that means a lot. That's a big
Yeah.
thing. You're right. And the
Well,
looks is always in there, but
looks
others-
don't last longer than
The
3 months. I
therapist
think.
is
A couple
asking
dates,
you
yeah,
to
yeah,
take
yeah.
the
I agree.
feminine position because I think these are generic stereotypes in a way, but women have a wider bandwidth of what they can find attractive. and sense of humor, ambition, drive, all
Yeah.
personal, how they treat their friends.
Men are like cavemen. So
so your therapist is trying to get you to the looks being that fourth thing. So then it's going to be about how are they with do they have friends? This woman, how are they with their family?
Yeah.
You know, all these different things.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know.
How are they to a waiter? How are they to?
Yes.
There's so
Are
many
they kind?
little
How are they
things.
to an Uber driver?
Yeah, little things.
Yeah.
I talked to
If they're
someone
rude
recently
to an Uber driver, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
was
Rude to a
dating
waiter,
somebody and the headphones didn't work on the jet. I guess it was a private jet, and the guy flipped out. What the fuck, man? I can't even fucking and threw him against the plane.
Who was this? Wait, who?
Just someone it was just a red flag of someone. If you have someone like their cocktail's not perfectly done and the rest of the first date, and like, what the fuck, man? God damn it, it's too much vermouth.
Yeah. If they're like a White Lotus character, then it's a red. Yeah, then it's a red
That's
flag.
right. You want chill. I know men at this point, women have their whole story, but this is a guy podcast.
You know what
Today.
else is good?
Calm. is
General
good.
disposition. Because sometimes, and demeanor, because if there's some people you're also, every time you see them, you go, I got to try to get them up. Like they're kind of down or they're kind of in a bad mood. They're kind of grousy and you're trying to go, hey, and you don't want to set them off. I mean, not to set them off like it's that itchy, but just some people are just light.
You don't want, exactly. You don't want to feel like you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
You want somebody that has the emotional regulation game down pat a little bit.
It's a chill person. That,
because,
Have you had you're a young man, have you had a relationship that lasted a few years where you?
The longest I've gone is a year and a half.
That's fine. I know a
That's fine.
celebrity that doesn't want me to mention this, but
Popcorn.
the longest he this celebrity.
I'm like that though.
I know a celebrity that can only go 30 days.
I'm working on that. I'm working on it.
30 days is the longest he can go.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
30 days.
Some would say
What was
that's
his name
an
again?
avoidant
I
attachment
can't
Say his name again? I couldn't hear.
can't.
James Earl Jones.
Damn it!
Neil
Damn it,
deGrasse.
Andre. Why? No, I can't call Jimmy for Thanksgiving now. That'd be
Desmond
James.
Tutu.
No, it's so that's fine, but
there is a shift occurring. I'm having I just turned 40. I'm having my midlife crisis shift in my priorities. I was very focused on making whatever type of comedy that I've been trying to do
career
work
Yeah.
and it takes 20 fucking years. It's hard. And I have like a very specific, nuanced, comedic POV and sensibility. So it's not for everybody and it's not a normal or mainstream point of view. So it took me a very, very long time. I'm still figuring it out, but I feel like it's on its feet a little bit more than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And I have somewhat of a body of work to show like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. But it took 2 decades. So now that it's somewhat on its feet,
and you're
I'm
in
no
the
Shecky
zeitgeist.
Green, but
you're famous.
You have you have a brand, you have a lane, like people know about you. They're aware of you.
There's
They know what you do.
something there. There's some
100%.
body of work I can point to now.
Yep.
Where now I'm like, what else is life about? And I don't think just money or career is a wealth. I think love is a wealth, and love life is a wealth. So now I'm like, oh, maybe there's other aspects of my adult life that I could nourish. And before the first 20 years of my career, 20 to 40, I was just like, hey, you're hot and you're paying attention to me. Let's make out for a year. And then I'd be like, I'm not really thinking about it more three-dimensionally. Yeah. And now, through an immense amount of therapy as a child of divorce, I am thinking about it more three-dimensionally and realizing that an amazing woman in your life can bring a lot of balance.
I was going to say the word balance, not even a big word, but
I know what balance means.
You got your show business lane. Yeah. And then if it's all about that lane and the balloon gets a little deflated for a couple of years,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not a shiny object anymore.
You want to come home. I think it would be nourishing for my life if I came home to my best friend every day and I could vent to her, and we could share experiences together. But the first 20 years of my adult life in the workforce, I was just like, let's make out and hump.
That's all right. It's,
you know, like
Lorne Michaels said once, there's something about a man in his 40s and a woman in her 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a link. That is a link.
Well,
I feel like
you want to
I don't
establish
want this to
your
sound
career.
sexist, which is a horrible way to start a sentence, but like I do feel like the gal on a date now, where I'm like, what are you looking for on a first date?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in my 20s, I would just be like, you're hot. Check us out. Am I making you laugh? And girls are like, shut the fuck up. All right, let's make out.
Girls kiss me mostly to stop me from talking. I agree.
They take you like, shut up and kiss me.
Yeah, they just go, shut up and kiss me. It's not romantic. It's literally shut up. Anything to stop
Now,
me.
are you going to settle down?
Well, I was hearing you, and I was getting your free
What's the longest
therapy.
Longest relationship you've ever done?
3 table dances in a row. That was my old answer. That was from my special.
That's a perfect answer.
No, that was from an old
set
joke
David up
I
like
did.
that.
No, but I hear you. Yeah, I get it too. And I'm a child of divorce, so I never even try to look that deep into it. But yeah, there's definitely some. The red flag store has gone out of business over here. So it's just.
Would you say it's an avoidant attachment style? My therapist also was like, "Don't pathologize yourself too much. Just we'll figure it out." I also don't believe in societal norms,
right?
Always being like the answer for everybody, and each
I
person
agree.
is their own universe, and whatever makes you happy makes you happy. So
I agree to that.
Some people want marriage and children. Some people want no marriage. Some people want children with no marriage. Some people want marriage with no children. So
I know, but I was on Bill Maher's
works.
show, and he's apologetic, going, people are mad at Bill Maher because he has a wife and a kid. I go, I'm not mad at you. I don't care at all.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You have to live like me?
Yeah.
But I think
it's
still that's the prevalent. Is that a word?
Prevalent? Yeah.
Is it the prevalent? I can't continue after I say
Oh,
it.
please.
Because I don't know what it means. But people have the wife and kids and the family. And every
prevailing-
movie is family, and every movie is like, well, you have family when you come home. And if you're watching those movies and you don't have a family coming, those bother people too. You can't just say, oh, and at the end of the movie, they get back together and then they have the kids and then they're all in the same house. And you go, I know that's what everyone's saying, but I don't know if everyone is exactly that anymore. It's very modern families.
Well, the
out
birth
there.
rate is not being replaced in the Western world. I mean, we're not at replacement. At least us Irish Norwegians are not replacing ourselves in America right now, because a lot of there's no money. There's 77 trillion with my tribe, the baby boomers. We have all the money. We paid all the debts. All went to us. And so the kids are coming up, young people trying to buy a house. The home ownership's way down. What I would pay for $300 for an apartment in the 70s now is like $4,500. So there is all that too. It's hard. It takes money to have a family.
Yeah.
And
kids are expensive.
Yes.
And I like sleeping in. I like traveling, and I like only spending my extra shekels on myself. Selfishly, if I think like, oh, I want to take a trip to whatever. I want to go to Paris. If I was like, I want to go to Paris, but I have to pay for my wife and my 3 kids, I'm like, shit, you guys are dragging me down. It kind of hurt my pockets, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in a hurry. I know a
sting.
lot of dads who started their family in their 50s, and
I know that too. That's more common than
the
Al
testosterone.
Pacino's-
I'm not worried about you.
Testosterone
Yeah.
goes
You're
down,
fine.
and then someone like a Clooney or a Warren Beatty can go, okay, I had 7,000 girlfriends. Now I can lock in.
Yeah, Warren Beatty was like Will Chamberlain, right?
Yeah.
He was fucking
Charming.
wild. Johnny Carson too, wasn't he? Like
Johnny.
I heard he humped around a
It would be
every
more
single
normal-
extra every
Really? Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let's do
Watch out.
poppers.
If you
let's
were-
do poppers tonight, right before we.
Serious?
No,
I heard I had to have sex with 5 women a night or something like insane.
Get it.
I knew
It's Cinco de Mayo.
I knew someone who was his girlfriend when he was like, she was like 30 and he was like 64, and they'd be at a party and he'd be hitting on someone over by the stairwell.
So you do these poppers, and
Well, if
and
you
your
were divorced
orgasms are
twice,
a lot different.
it
Is
would
that
be
right?
more normal.
What's that?
If you were divorced twice by now, it'd be more normal.
Yeah, that's the other
you
thing. A
would be
lot of
looked
my
at
friends
more
my
normal.
age, late 30s, early 40s, are all not all going through divorce, but a shit ton of my friends are going through divorce.
Right.
So that I was like, I'm a child of divorce and I'm traumatized. I was from my parents' divorce. I got they got divorced when I was like 11, turning 12, which is an awkward age. So I was always worried about that. I was like, I don't want to get married,
And get
break
divorced.
up with someone, or have a kid, and then have to tell
I feel that
have
way.
to do what my parents did. My parents are very beautiful and loving, but
How old were you?
I was like 11, turning 12. It was
Hard.
super awkward.
Hard.
6th grade.
Yeah.
It's a weird, and my parents didn't communicate well. Like, they didn't really tell me properly what was going on. My dad was just like, I'm going to live somewhere else for a little bit. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But, and then I had to put the pieces together. I was like, are you guys getting divorced? And they were like,
Duh.
yeah. And I was like, what? So, it's hard.
Well, we could end on that downer.
yeah.
What else is going on?
Wait a minute. To sum up,
Give me a 10-hour energy.
Yeah.
I had therapy. I started at 60 and I went for 5 years. I got it a little too late.
Really? I've been
So the
doing it.
fact that you're doing it now before these other life choices.
I started when I was 25, and right when I started therapy, I was like, I wish I was doing this since I was 10. I was like, I wish.
Right at the divorce would have helped, probably.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes. It
Someone to
helped
talk to,
immensely.
yeah.
My dad was a psychiatrist who never went to therapy, and my dad just passed away like a year ago. But like when I was on the phone with him a few hours ago, and I was like, Dad, I got to go. I'm pulling up to my therapist, and he was like, Therapy? Pfft, those people just tell you what you want to hear. I was like, aren't you a fucking psychiatrist?
Yeah.
Don't you work with therapists?
Yeah.
Don't you work
Interesting.
in the mental health field? He was a strange. He's a strange.
That's what
It
people would
really
say
is
to
a
me when I
scam.
went. My brothers would go, Did she fix you? Did she
Yeah.
fix you?
My
And I
mom
go-
said the best thing. My mom, who needs therapy more than
Who's in the
anybody I know.
book a lot too with
Yeah.
emails and stuff.
She goes, I go, Ma, same thing. I go, Ma, I got to go. I'm going to therapy. And she went, Therapy? Okay, Mr. California. And I was like, she thought it was like a new agey.
Yeah.
I was like, no one on earth needs therapy more than you. Mom, she's like, no, I tried therapy once when grandma died. And the guy was just like, try antidepressants. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I was like, no.
I say, Mom, I'm going to my astrologist now. She's like, that is bullshit. No, people get. I like when women ask you, when were you born?
Yeah.
And I go,
weirdly
how old
specific
am I? They
time?
go, no, just when, what time, and where. And I go,
Here it
that's my
comes.
red flag. I go, oh, no. And she's like, yeah, let me just check the moons and everything, and I'll get back to you. And I go,
Yeah.
if it's predicated on that, I'm.
Yeah,
It's probably
I
not
will
best.
say women are quite into astrology. If you meet, if you have a
Is it?
crush on a gal that
Yeah.
is not into astrology, I would marry her. 'Cause she is a diamond in the
one,
rough.
the one past that is my psychic told me. I go, oh boy, go back to the astrologist.
Yeah.
The astrologist is based on something, but they
Yeah.
do say, and I actually believe some psychics work, but I don't know if that's the one they're hitting. It's just too much of a crapshoot. Like,
Yeah. So
There's
wait,
a lot
are
of
you
time.
married?
Oh yeah, for 40 years.
You've married for 40 years.
Yeah.
So if you
So
split
you guys
it,
are like the opposite.
yeah, we both
You guys are
worked
the
20 years
fucking
if you
opposite.
We're the opposites.
amortize it
And yet we're
Wow.
very good friends.
Amortized.
Totally
Are you
different.
going to get married at the end of this year?
soon. Yeah. Did you see my psychic? No, I'm a little late to the game, but I am trying to struggle through life. So I am aware of my craziness. So is it fixed yet? No.
My
but
wife
I'm
and
aware.
I, if she'll come in from the store and then I'm going to go to the store, she'll come with me to the store so we can hang out.
Wow. So this is going good.
I guess
Well,
he wins that round.
You know, it's a little bit of a,
be nice.
Yeah,
I know.
Jesus.
I just say, guys, I mean,
No, I'm content right now with my life.
You have it's like this elliptical thing of the sun goes behind the moon. You have years where you're not, some years you're not really connecting.
Yeah.
It's when you don't leave after that and you kind of go, God, we're in a ditch. And then it starts to come around again and you're like, it's all back good again. So a lot of people pull the ripcord on the first time. Like, I don't
the
even like
first
this person.
slump. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not attracted to this person. Bloop.
Yeah,
100 million.
That's me. The first slump. Post
You get
honeymoon.
out.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
like,
just-
is this when the bad
You
times
weren't
start?
ready. You know,
But there's some-
you may not find, you may never get married, but you weren't ready. You're so career driven.
Yeah.
It would have been a very special
It's
kind
good
of
to
person.
stay friends with. I try to stay friends because sometimes that's even harder to find someone you actually like to hang out with, and if it doesn't work and they stay in your life over time, you start to go, this person is more right than I thought, because you see them mad, sad, the way they handle different things in life, and you go, I can handle that. I can handle that temperament. And you start to go, there's more of a growing attraction over time in a weird way. And some you just go, we weren't right for each other. And listen, I did the same thing. Divorced when I was 4. Dad took off, stepdad, and then stepdad killed himself. I mean, there's so many weird, crazy things that happen.
Is that why you're a comedian,
But
you think?
I think it might be why I'm a comedian, also just trying to make money and just make ends meet, knowing it wasn't coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no like rich friend or rich relative. Yeah. So we just were sort of scraping. But it's no like poor me. It's just everyone's had rough stories growing up. But I do have to look, you look at it, how it fits into the whole picture and you go, okay, there's some crazy in there that obviously came from certain things. So try to analyze it and then, watch porn, whatever most people do.
Porn is so
Watch
boring.
porn, film your own porn.
Every once in a while, I'll just look at it for a
I know,
minute,
it's bad
and then
with-
I'm like,
It's bad when you got to up the stakes.
I don't like-
That's when you got to get out. You got to go, I'm not going to Squirter. I'm not.
You're not
I
going
refuse, I
to
I don't click on it.
little.
One time my friend was like, dude, I jacked off to anime, like Japanese animation.
Oh.
He goes, I jacked off to anime. We're in high school. We're like 18 years old.
Jesus.
He goes, I jerked off to anime. And all my friends, we all start making fun of him. We're like, you're a fucking weirdo loser. And then like 24 hours later, we were all like,
Oh.
I watched the anime porn. We all like jacked
Anime
off.
is doing it for you guys.
Isn't that
24 hours
cartoons? That didn't
Maybe it
take.
was a short lived. I
I
don't know.
thought you were gonna say
There's no
20
fetish
years
here.
later.
There's no fetish tradition. But I love that guys are always like, ew, you jerked off to the
I know.
weird, obscure thing. And then like an hour later,
It
we're like,
comes around.
maybe we should
Maybe just check it out.
check it out.
All right, let's
Give it a
go on
spin.
that one. I like porn jokes. Thank you.
porn
Eric.
jokes
I
are
want to get
great.
back in a ditch where we're really
No,
depressed.
we were
and-
good.
and
You know
Did
what?
stoned
I
out.
impress you with my wife going to the store with me? Was that kind
No,
of?
I like
That
it.
was
It's very,
impressive. Well,
it's very
it-
sweet.
Or depressive for you guys.
No. It's
No.
interesting. You
Gives
guys
you hope.
both picked two specific. I don't even know different, but two very specific paths
Avenues,
with love
yeah.
life
Right.
stuff.
With me, and here's what I could
But
add
there's
to
pros
your
and cons
thing.
to everything,
Yeah.
right? There's pros and
You,
cons. to
you
everything.
just decide. You double down for each other. It's after you, no after you. We did a personality test across the kitchen table last year, and we both came out helper. So we're just.
Were your
No,
parents
I'll-
married all the way to the end?
I had a really rough childhood. So did he.
Yeah, he did. It's
My dad
crazy.
was a piece of work. Yeah. He
Okay,
had-
let's end the podcast right now.
God, we just keep slumping back to.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I can't talk politics with you because
And
you
he-
don't know shit. No, he was an orphan and he had his issues, narcissism running around. My
Yeah.
mom made me her surrogate husband. There were 5 kids, so I was I was responsible for her, like David was for his mom. And there's just a lot of responsibility there, and a lot of cruelty and weirdness.
Yeah.
But 5 kids in the '60s, a lot of independence.
Yeah.
But most comedians have kind of a little bit of an edge to them.
Yeah.
I would say.
We're not normal.
Christ sakes,
Definitely
Carvey.
not.
Okay, we're not all normal in the brain pan. We've been through the gauntlet a couple
Anyway, I got hit by a
times.
car once. Eric was our guest. It just keeps getting worse.
Eric Andre. I don't think this is depressing to talk about human stuff.
I think it's good to talk about. I think it's fun to talk about. Fun to hear we're all crazy in different ways.
because we've
It's not
seen
that-
Eric with your stuff you're doing. And by the way, the special, I thought as I was watching it, your last special, you were deconstructing the idea of a stand-up while you're doing stand-up.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
That's what I
high
felt.
praise.
Because I was like, oh, he's completely having fun with the whole idea. Here's the funny guy. You dive at, you're kissing a guy in the audience.
Yeah. I sweat all over that poor guy.
But I do think it's good to talk about this because they know we're
Yeah.
funny. I mean,
Yeah.
your special's out. What's the name of your special?
Nothing personal.
Oh, okay. Because
I can't
many
remember.
times you couldn't remember
Is it on Peacock?
It's on.
I just wanted to plug Peacock one
It's
more
on
time.
Instagram Live.
It's on Flu Blow, which is a cross between
Fubo.
Tubo and
It's on Pluto
Google.
TV.
It's on Alibaba.
it's on Bobo. Yeah, it's a niche network that you can't get with a conventional television.
It was a smash. He's putting
No.
butts in the seats. Let me tell you that when he's out on
I
the
like.
road.
I
He's putting
think
butts-
it's good. It's good to talk to him. I learn way more about you. It's a lot of fun to have a normal conversation. If this was normal, I think it was normal.
I think it was
Right?
I think it was very
as
normal.
normal
Great.
as America can tolerate.
Yes, You're
Is this
great.
on in America?
Mm-mm.
We
Just
haven't
North
got
Korea.
that coverage yet. We're actually big in
Who told you that?
Lithuania.
Iran is our biggest audience.
This is being dropped on Ukraine as a gift.
Yeah.
I thought. That's what I figured.
Biden is our biggest fan. Yeah, it's the best podcast there is to do.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
We'll
I
walk
appreciate
out.
it. Okay, sounds good. The late great Louis C.K. has a joke.
He's not dead.
This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13, executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.